Good morning, good evening, good night to wherever you are. I am Captain GMV. Up next we have Aeshmah, I believe. Oh, well, we're gonna hear it from himself. Um, we're gonna see Ghost of Tsushima. I'm excited. Are you ready?
I am. So, hello everyone. I'm Aeshmah. I'm gonna be closing off the, unofficial ninja block for BSG Annual with Ghost of Tsushima for you guys. And making sure that I'm not falling asleep during the run is...
Hello everyone, I'm Charlatan. I'm also runner of the game, and yeah, I am in a slightly different time zone, so I'm gonna have to keep Aeshmah awake.
Lucky you, because it's hella early in the morning over here where I am. So, yeah, let's see how we'll do this. All right. I think we had a donation incentive for the name of the horse in the beginning. I think Nobu won. Is that still correct?
Yes, still correct.
All right, then Nobu it will be. So since we will have about 3.5 hours to talk about, well, this game at large, why don't we just go ahead and get this show on the road in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright everybody, welcome to Tsushima Island. Having a bit of a problem at the moment because there is some Mongol invasion going on, and it will be our goal to basically go ahead and remedy that by every means necessary. So we will see our main protagonist, Jin Sakai, the only surviving samurai from a massacre that basically happened at the beginning of the game. And yeah, we'll be in control of him, and we will do our best to try and resolve this issue in about 3.5 hours or so.
Yeah, and as you can see, Ryujin is already riding through these amazing grass fields. And okay, so we are playing actually New Game Plus. We play mostly New Game Plus because you can skip cutscenes, which is a really awesome thing that we can do now. And yeah, that means that we already skipped all the prologue when you can see how this war started. But yeah, that's not going to let Jin not to uh, affront the Mongols invasion.
Yeah, it's like if you compare it just based on the time, like this New Game Plus run is about 3.5 hours. If I were to play this game or do a speedrun of this game from a fresh save pile, you can basically double that time. It's, a 7 to 8 hour run at that point, and that is a pretty big time investment. So we usually tend to do New Game Plus runs of this game. However, on the flip side, since it is a New Game Plus run, we of course also transfer all of our previous upgrades, all of our armor sets, our charms and whatnot over to the start of the game here, which also means that we have access to all of these things right from the get-go, which of course makes the run also a little bit faster and of course, easier, because you are not supposed to have everything we do have at our disposal right at this point in the game.
Yeah, also a big difference that obviously you have all your stuff is that if you watch a New Game Plus run and a New Game run, the type of gameplay is really different. We're going to be using a lot of exploits, a lot of fire explosions and stuff. And on the other hand, in a New Game run, you will find a lot of more like sword fighting. So that's also like a huge difference, is that in New Game Plus you are able to see all the variety of weapons that you can use, and in New Game you also see the minimum stuff, which is like a basic bow and the sword.
Yeah, basically, whenever you see me do use my sword during this run, you can already tell that things probably went wrong a little bit, because every time I lose my every time I use my sword, I basically lose a bit of time, because there probably was a way to resolve that situation a little bit faster. So I want to try and use my sword as little as possible. However, having said that, I actually do have to use my sword in the beginning of the run, simply because even though I do have access to all the ghost tools like the bombs and the explosive arrows and stuff like that. The game sadly doesn't give us any at the start, so while I can acquire them, I basically have, you know, zero capacity at the moment for them, so I will have to go around and pick them up or buy them. And since we also don't have any money to actually buy stuff at the beginning, I will just have to make do with my sword.
Yeah, so different to other games, Ghost of Tsushima, even though you have all your stuff, you start with 0 ammunition. And well, here is the first quest of the game, and as you can see, Aeshmah changed outfit. He put the ghost armor, and Ghost of Tsushima has an option that let you put different sets of charms in different sets of armor. So we in the run, I'm going to actually use 4 different armors, and the ghost stance is the one that we are going to use the most, because it has really good stats, and we have the ghost armor built in such a way that we take the more advantage of all the things that the charms offer.
It's actually pretty nice because, once again, if you were to compare this to a new game speedrun of the game, we don't actually use the ghost armor there, or very sparingly, and I always thought personally that it was a bit of a shame because it is probably one of the best looking armor sets in the game, so I was pleasantly surprised that it was actually viable for a new game plus run. But you will see what the armor actually does once we actually start to get into some fights here.
Yeah, so one bad thing about the any percent new game run is that you actually don't pick any like good stuff, quote unquote, because all the like the best weapons, the best ammunition, you get that from using you doing the Mystic Tales, which is an optional thing for the run.
And they take a lot of time to do. Like, you can basically say that every side quest or so that you do will take about probably 20 minutes or so, and that is just such a long time frame that there is just no way in the run to make that time actually back. So yeah, we're not doing any optional side quests during a new game speedrun of this game, and of course also not doing new game plus because we already have all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go
So
for
we are
some
finishing
ghost flowers, but why would we?
Yeah, we're finishing the first quest of the game. So we most of the time we're gonna have a companion. In this case, we are with Yuna, and we need to save his brother, which is a blacksmith. And obviously, in the middle of the war, a blacksmith is a really good asset. So we're going to help her to rescue his brother. But unlucky for us, his brother is not here. But at least we have nice information.
Yeah, so as it turns out, you know, I said in the beginning that Jin is actually the only surviving samurai from the first skirmish with the Mongols at the beach. That is, however, not completely true, as Jin's uncle also survived. And he is actually the lord of the island of Tsushima. And Jin believes that if he is able to save his uncle from the Mongols, together they will able to, well, save the island. And that is basically our first goal in the game, in the first act, to go ahead and save our uncle from Castle Kaneda, which is up in the north of this part of the island. But in order to do that, you know, it's a castle full of Mongols. We of course need some allies, and that is basically what we're doing in the first part of the run here, going around recruiting various people to our cause, and then go ahead and assault the castle at the end of the first act.
Yeah, so one thing that we skip because it happens in the prologue is that Jin actually went to Castle Canada and tried to rescue his uncle, but he went alone. And even though he was able to like reach a decent amount of the castle, he lost against the Khan. And yeah, now he wants to recruit people, and also he's like kind of in a journey to figure out ways to defeat the Mongols, because the Mongols they study like the samurais and the samurai way, so they are actually prepared for whatever the samurai thing can go to them.
What?
Okay, so that was really weird. And this is one of the things that we want to avoid. And somehow the game recognized the silent kill as a is assassination from above. And because the assassination is uh, a thing without honor, we have like a flashback from our uncle that said, "You don't have to do this. We fight with honor because we are samurai." And yeah, we have to avoid to use assassination from above because it loses time. So Aeshmah was really kind to show that
That was
for
really
you guys.
weird. I mean, that has never happened before to me. Like, normally you just roll up to these guys and assassinate them. I have no idea why that triggered an air assassination. It probably was a little bit too far or too high up because I was coming down from a slope. But yeah, I have never seen that happen. So, alright. I guess the run is valid now because this has never happened before, right? That's how this thing goes.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we want to avoid because even though we can skip cutscenes, there is some cutscenes that we can't skip, and the flashbacks are one of them. So there is a lot of times where you are going to see the assassination from above thing, and you don't want to do that because it loses time, and somehow it happened. I think you were maybe the game recognized that you were a little bit high from them. I don't know.
Probably. I mean, I guess we just have to, store that information and wait with the assassination until we're actually closer to the people next time we do it. But yeah, interesting. Well, I guess the game can still surprise us.
Yeah, so this is Sensei Ishikawa. We are going to be recruiting people, and Sensei Ishikawa is going to give us a bow that we already have because it's New Game Plus. But yeah, so Sensei Ishikawa has a whole storyline, but we only need to do the first quest of that storyline, so he's like kinda unlocked for our army. And now he's going to be with us in all the big fights.
Coming up is one of the major differences between the difficulties, actually, because I am playing on lethal difficulty, which is the highest difficulty in the game. There are 4 difficulty levels: easy, normal, hard, and then lethal. And besides the obvious things like the enemies being more aggressive and having more health and stuff like that, what also changes is the pickups. You will see me pick up a few arrows in just a moment here. And while the number of, pickup objects in the world is the same on all difficulties, the quantity of arrows and other stuff that you actually do pick up from these pickup objects is different and dependent on the difficulty level. Like, you see me pick up about, I want to say 5 arrow thingies, and while on easy, that basically means that you have every single arrow at maximum capacity afterwards. Since I am playing on lethal difficulty, I will only get very few arrows out of that, actually. And depending on how many explosive arrows specifically I will get here, that means I will have to do a shopping trip or not in a very short amount of time. And I didn't get a single explosive arrow. My god. Well, shopping it is then.
Yeah, in the easiest difficulty, you most likely are gonna get between 4 and 6 explosive arrows, and yeah, lethal is the looting is really, really, really hard. Okay, so one of the things that we are going to use here is the ghost armor. So we're going to explain how the ghost armor works and how it's built. So Jin is a samurai that is using different exploits to defeat the Mongols. So the Mongols are actually afraid of the things that he can do. So the whole armor is built around terrifying enemies. So we have a lot of charms in the armor that increase the amount of probabilities that an enemy has to be had for being terrifying. and an enemy that is terrifying is considered defeat. So, for example, if you have to kill 10 enemies and you hit one of them, and all the 9 others are terrified, the game is going to recognize that all the enemies are defeated. So, the armor is built so the most amount of enemies are scared when you kill one enemy. So they are more scared if you kill one enemy. If you kill one enemy with fire, if an enemy is on fire and bump into another enemy, then enemy catch fire. So all those things increase the possibility of an enemy to be scared from Jin. So we think that is probably between 80 and 90% the probability of one enemy getting scared. So that's the perk of the ghost armor of enemies being scared.
And I mean, you basically saw that in the fight that I just did, that I actually had to kill very few actual enemies, because all the others are basically, you know, scared and ran away. And that makes the fights go by really quickly. However, having said that, you also notice that at the end I had to do a little bit of a cleanup run through the camp there, because some enemies actually did not get terrified and run away. And that is basically where the RNG of the run comes in, because depending on how many enemies actually do stay and fight, I will have to, well, search for them and kill them, and that can either go very quickly, or it can just, you know, lose you oodles of time, because they're very far away. They, you know, run around the camp themselves, they go into hiding, and stuff like that can happen, and that just, you know, loses time. And basically, that was one of the, well, not so great camps here, because there were actually 2 enemies left at the end. And one was, of course, in the watchtower, as he basically always is, the goddamn archer there. And yeah, well, still, it was okay-ish, but definitely could have been better.
I demand an answer.
Yeah, so you want the enemies to be scared, but if they are not scared, you want the one closer to you be the one not scared, so then you can go with your sword and kill them. And yeah, it's kind of RNG heavy, but again, the probability of one enemy getting scared is quite high, so it's not that bad.
I mean, that is basically what where the experience of the runners come in, having to, you know, chase down these Mongols and see where they are as quickly as possible. And the more you play the game, of course, the more you are accustomed to these situations, and the faster you can react to it.
Right, so here we're going to do a little bit of chopping. We were able to pick some supplies. We don't have any money here, like, I don't know, gold, coins or something. We actually trade with supplies because the island is at war. And we want to pick fire, explosive arrows, or gunpowder bombs. And again, the armor is built around fire terrifying damage, so we want those things. And you might think that it's really weird to see like a samurai doing explosive and fire things, but as long as it work, I think it's fine.
I mean, it definitely is. Like, we sometimes joke a little bit about that this is basically the Michael Bay of Tsushima strats, because we do want to make stuff explode, as it is the fastest way to get rid of, you know, unwanted Mongols on this very beautiful island that we're running across here. So yeah, now that we have recruited Sensei Ishikawa, we will now make our way over to the estate of Lady Masako. Lady Masako is the head of another samurai clan that is befriended to Jin. However, basically her husband and her sons died at the battle that Jin just barely survived. So she is now the head of the samurai clan, and that is why we seek her out.
Yeah, and again, as the same as Sensei Ishikawa, we only need to do the first quest of the storyline of Lady Masako. So she is part now of the ghost or I mean Jin's army or friends against the Khan. I don't know.
The Scooby Gang.
Yeah,
Scooby Gang of
yeah.
Tsushima.
And one really cool thing about this side quest is that you have obviously like the main quest, and you have like important side quests, and Lady Masako is actually one of them. And every like storyline has like a topic, and it's really cool, and it's really well told. So if you haven't played this game, please do, because the storytelling is really cool.
And, you know, this week actually, the director's cut for the game will release with some more content. Like a new island will be introduced with some more story quests happening and all things like that. Like, I think more armor sets and, you know, it's a pretty substantial upgrade actually.
I can't wait.
I think it releases on Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for, or I should say, I can wait. Huh?
Maybe. I mean, you know, I kind of doubt that, at the moment at least, that for this category they will introduce anything worthwhile. Because I kind of can't see how they would improve on what we do here, but I am open for surprises, definitely. Alright, there she is, Lady Masako. Woo.
Fought men at your estate.
She actually has a few not so nice nicknames that we gifted upon her, but you will see what those are in just a little bit.
My sister took the children.
Yeah. So in summarize the story of Lady Masako,
We were out.
her husband died in the first encounter with the Mongols. His son as well, and in top of that, somebody or somebody's killed his whole family, like his grandchildren, his children's, and like daughters-in-law, and like all the clan. And now she is seeking revenge. So obviously he's like in a dark path, like searching for the guilty people, and basically killing everybody in her way, because he wants revenge. She wants revenge. Sorry.
Sorry you endured this.
Yeah, she's not exactly in a happy place at the moment,
The killers are alive.
as you can tell by the dialogue happening here.
Every moment the killers walk free brings me shame.
You actually have to, you know, watch your NPC companions closely here, because sometimes they can get left behind. And that is always a little bit iffy, because if you actually manage to get away from your NPC companions, after a while they will just stand in place and wait for you to come back and fetch them. You know, they will just stand around, wave a little bit, yell at you for going away, and that is always, well, heartbreaking if you see it, because you just know that you're losing time at that point.
Yeah, even though you are like in their side, they stop and yell that you are too far,
Thank you for your time.
and it's really annoying,
Yep.
I need to find
because it's one of those times where you want to go fast, but not that fast.
Aha, got the skip.
Yeah, this is a really
Go ahead.
Got the armor.
this is a really new skip. So it's really weird, because we can skip cutscenes in New Game Plus, and in some points you can get control of Jin in between skipping cutscenes. So in that moment, there is actually two cutscenes, and you can roll behind or roll backwards in between that moment and skip the second cutscene, or the second skip cutscene. It says probably 2 seconds or 3 or something like that. But it's really cool that you can actually get control of Jin between skipping cutscenes, if that makes sense.
Where is that monk?
I think it's actually the only part where we have discovered that that is possible. Might be mistaken, but I don't think I've seen it anywhere else so far.
I mean, you can jump a little bit in when you like the house in Fort Ito, and also when you talk to Lord Shimura after the Shadow of the Samurai, but it's useless.
As are most of the things that we find for this game.
Yeah.
I think Charleston might actually be the most active glitch and bug hunter and whatnot when it comes to this game, and he has found actually quite a few things, but I want to say most of them are actually useless because the game is very restrictive when it comes to how you approach it, and more specifically the quests, or the tales as they are called. So most of the things that he has found haven't proven to be of use yet, I want to say, but he's still keeping at it, which is pretty great.
Yeah, it's really heartbroken when you find a new strat, and because you actually like, I mean, people know this, you actually like spend a lot of time like in certain areas looking for stuff, and you hit all the checkpoints in that quest, and then when you try the thing in a proper run, or in a proper like proper run setting, then you figure out that it's actually useless. But yeah, I mean, claps to Sucker Punch, I think.
Oh, that was close.
Closer.
This way.
So you're actually supposed to trail Sogen, the monk, to this place here. However, if you wait until he comes to a very specific point in his pathing, and then just hightail it to this inn, to the bandits right here, the cutscene still plays as if he were present, which is why they're actually talking to him right now, even though he's still miles behind us, which of course saves a little bit of time because you don't have to wait for him to actually come here.
Stand and fight me!
Yeah, this is the first standoff that we encounter. This is a really like good looking mechanic of the game. Like this tempo thing where you have to draw your sword before your enemy. And as you can see, every time Jin kill an enemy, you get like a yellow thing into your left bottom corner, and that's resolved. So that things if for your special attacks. You can use that for doing the Dance of Wrath, which is a special attack, and also in Lethal is really useful because you have a thing called the Iron Will,
There's no way.
and in Lethal, as the name said, is really hard, and you can die from one of two hits like really easy, and the Iron Will actually let you like revive Jin when he fell in combat. So you want that resolve to be full so you can not die if you get hit like and
Did you
fall into in the combat.
And also the nice thing is that this standoff basically guarantees that your resolve bar is pretty much full. I think it actually refills it completely. So you do know that you have, this little safety cushion if you need it. Or you can just use it for offensive abilities like the Dance of Wrath, as we will show later on in the run when we actually start using it. But yeah, this is actually the point where those aforementioned nicknames for Lady Masako come in, because what happened here is we finally cornered Sogen, and he started bad-mouthing Masako's family, and she doesn't quite like that. So what she actually does is she listens a little bit to him, and then she just strikes him down in cold blood. Which is why we have actually started calling Lady Masako Lady Massacre, or Murder Granny, whatever suits your fancy. Because this will keep happening over and over again during a questline.
Yeah. It's really graphic actually. Sadly, we don't see it in New Game Plus, but in New Game you you have to see it every time. And yeah, it's really graphic. I mean, I don't blame her.
No, but yeah, it's definitely a thing that happens. I mean, thinking about it, this game is actually pretty dark. Like, if you watch, what happens in the story and what unfolds there, it's definitely not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, so now we already recruit Sensei Shigawa and Lady Masako, and we are going to save Yuna's brother, the blacksmith, and we have to go to another character's house. And as you can see right now, other than the health bar, the resolve thing, and the stance that you have, there is nothing on the screen. So there is no compass or marker in the I don't know there that tell you where to go. So Ghost of Tsushima is a really like minimalistic game in that matter. The thing that you have for like guide you is the wind, but because we don't have that quest activated, the wind is not there. So one of the hardest part of the run is actually going from point A to point B because there is nothing to to tell you where to go, and yeah, every run has like kind of a different route, I want to say, or maybe they've pick like different things in the landscape to figure out where to go. Um, like a specific tree or this square rock that you can see there. But yeah, this is I think the hardest part of the game when you start running the game is knowing where to go. But you can obviously open the map and put the marker, and then the wind is going to tell you where to go. But yeah, and at this level, you don't want to open the map because obviously it loses time. But yeah, basically you have to learn the landscape without any like outside markers other than the nature itself.
It's just like when you, move to a new city or something. The first few days or even weeks, you probably need a map or something to get around because you don't know the street names and whatnot and where to go, where to shop and all that stuff. But after a while, you just learn it and then you don't need the map anymore. And all of a sudden, you don't have to open it and don't lose time by doing it anymore. So yeah, it's definitely the first few times you run this game, you will have to open the map just to get your bearings again. Because, the island is quite large, so it's definitely easy to get lost. And it's also pretty beautiful, so you definitely have to suppress the urge to just, stand around and take a photo or maybe 10 or 100, as people tend to do in this game.
Yeah, and there is kind of a glitch in the photo mode that you can like actually take a photo from the whole island. So if you guys are into like game photograph,
The Mongols worth searching.
with this game is absolutely perfect for that.
Also coming up is one of my favorite, glitches in the game. Also, of course, it is absolutely useless. Because as we have said before, if you get too far away from your allies, they will just stand around and wait for you to pick them up again. However, in this part, we are supposed to walk with Yuna and Kenji to the next Mongol outpost to see how we can get in. But if I manage to get outside of the range here, and do this consistently, Kenji will be very adamant that really, Kenji, what did they do? Yeah, for whatever reason, this only happens with Kenji. If you let the dialogue progress to any of the other characters like Jin or Yuna, the dialogue actually progresses until it's Kenji's turn again. And if you walk outside of range again with any of Kenji's voice lines, he just keeps looping on that particular line. It's pretty funny. But yeah, this is the only break that we're gonna get during this whole run. So, take a minute to stretch, quickly grab a drink, go to the bathroom or whatever. This will resume in about 30 seconds or so.
In that case, we have a €2.5 donation from Anonymous for Let me check real quick. I believe yes, it is. It is sparing Lord
Shimura.
Shimura. Right, there it is. Pronunciation is hard. With that, it's €5 versus €2.5. Can you explain a bit about the donation incentive?
It's basically right at the end of the game, so you guys will have about 3 more hours excuse me, to donate to that incentive. And I actually don't want to spoil it too much at this point, because it's a little bit of a surprise at the end of the run. But well, somebody's life is basically in your hands, dear viewers. So if you want to go ahead and spend a bit of money on that particular choice, not only does it help the characters in the game, you're also benefiting a pretty worthwhile cause, if I'm right. All right.
They burned half the town.
Exactly. We are raising money for Mind, which is a nationwide organization committed to prevent mental health issues and support everyone who is dealing with mental issues themselves or within their family.
Behind town.
We need a vantage point to scout ahead.
This way up here.
Okay, will the Mongol slaver be kind to me, or won't he be?
Look, by the gate.
Nah, this has taken too long. Let's wait for him to go to the next prisoner. Because what can happen here, if you press X at this point on the slaver at the, well, quote-unquote wrong time, he will just loop endlessly, more or less, between these 3 slaves and not actually continue on his path into the town here. And of course, we don't want that to happen, but it looks like it just happened to me. Yep, that is a reload. Damn it. It's always a little bit heartbreaking when it happens, because you know that you're just losing time at this point. I'm not exactly sure what triggers him not continuing on. It's I have different theories, but none of them have been, wholly conclusive so far. But yeah, well, just gotta keep testing it, I suppose.
Yeah, so here there is a new skip that I don't remember who found a little time ago. And there is a thing that is scripted here, and it's this guy that I just killed, getting out of there and killing a lady and having a conversation with this guy. But if we kill that guy with a heavy arrow, obviously the guy died, and also the heavy arrow is so powerful that actually hit the guy backwards, so it's out of the eyesight of the slaver. And yeah, it did save actually quite some time, because we avoid off the whole conversation. So it's a really nice keep there. So Ghost of Tsushima is a game that is not really broken at all, and all the time save is like little time here and there, like 15 minutes here, 20 here, 5 here, 1 here. It's not like I don't know, like a quest that save, I don't know, 15 minutes or something. Which is really cool. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that they don't like glitchy games where you clip out of bounds and finish the game right away. So if you are into that kind of games, Ghost of Tsushima is actually more based on skill than like being able to perform a frame perfect trick or something.
Speaking of skill and frame perfect tricks, there is actually one thing
Yeah.
coming up right now. That
My
we
whole
did
speech
find.
is worthless now.
Because we are supposed to sneak through this whole market here. You can see all these red shades, right, which are all enemies patrolling the area, and we are supposed to sneak by them. However, we found out that if you start rolling while you are still undetected, none of these white or yellowish detection arrows have popped up on your screen, and you crouch down and you start rolling, and you just hammer down on that circle button like your life depends on it, none of these Mongols will actually ever see you. So there is no trick exactly to it. You just, you know, crouch down while you have not been attacked by any Mongol, and you start rolling and you just don't stop, and they won't see you, like, ever. And that is how
Yeah.
we can quote unquote skip quite a few of these stealth sections, you know, following the age old adage of they don't see me rolling, they don't hating.
Yes, I mean this is a really huge exploit of the game. Uh, the, all the stealth quests are easily done with this exploit where you rolling without being spot. So yeah, I think this is the main exploit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know that obviously performing as a frame perfect trick is obviously skill as well, but I meant like skill like playing the game, not like that kind of skill. But yeah,
Benji's waiting for us
I
at
mean,
the crossroads.
there is speedruns game from everybody. And yeah, coming up, there is a really cool stuff that I really like, and every time I have opportunity to mention it, I do. And it's the stamina bar uh, on Jin. So you don't actually have a stamina bar as you can see in the screen, but Jin actually have stamina. And when his head drops down a little bit, like one does when he's tired, right? That means that Jin's stamina is low. And if you perform like a slide or a dodge, his stamina bar is completely full again. So this is a really nice touch, I'll say that like a minimalistic game that doesn't have a stamina bar but has like this little visual cue that lets you know that okay, this guy is tired.
Horses, they're coming for us. Get in the tall grass and stay down.
It's Kenji! Taka! You made it!
Were you followed?
No.
Also, that rolling technique, we have two names for it. One of it is the Japanese roly-poly ghost, or JRPG for short. I guess you guys never heard that one before. Or you can just, you know, go ahead and call it the tumbleweed samurai, which flows off the tongue a little bit nicer, I think. Also, we have another, you know, walkie-talkie section coming up right here where the NPCs and Jin are gonna have a nice little talk while they walk up this mountain.
Use a drink.
And during all of these sections, Jin's movement speed is considerably slowed down so that this conversation can actually play out with its intended length. However, his jumping speed is actually not slowed down for whatever reason. And that is why you will see me jumping like a monkey whenever one of these sections happens, because it actually does speed up the whole thing quite substantially.
Yeah. And yeah, Tangerine Fish asked in chat if that is patch, the rolling. And no, we actually run the game in current patch. And yeah, all the things that you are going to see here is performing the current patch. So it's not patch at all.
Actually, Sucker Punch knows that this exists. We actually contacted them about it, and well, that was quite a while ago, and it still hasn't been patched. So we think it won't be patched like ever, because, you know, it actually doesn't change any of the game's mechanics or anything. I mean, it's a nice little exploit. Everybody can do that, but it doesn't detract from the game itself. So I don't think that it will be patched. However, you know, as we just mentioned, the director's cut is coming out pretty shortly, and they would have the opportunity to change the game a little bit more substantially. So it might be patched in the future, but let's just hope it doesn't get fixed.
Yeah, and now we're going to, this is the Kishi grasslands, and as you can see, Aesh is like getting a little bit out of the way for picking these purple flowers. And these are poison flowers, aconite, that give us poison darts. And there is actually a really cool thing, these poison darts, because
Ambushed.
in the same way that you at the beginning saw Aeshmah doing assassination from above and getting the flashback, if you use the blowgun with the poison dart, will you also get a flashback? And you don't want to have that flashback because it loses time. But because this is New Game Plus, we have the blowgun from the beginning. And in a normal playthrough, you get the blowgun in a specific quest. So we figured out that if you use the blowgun before that quest, you can use it and don't get the flashback. So the poison dart or the blowgun is really, really OP because it lets you kill one enemy with one hit, and and also the enemy being poisoned scare enemies as well. So we're going to use the poison dart.
Shoot.
Wait, what happened?
I actually bungled the standoff.
These bastards won't give up. Don't let them surround us.
Yeah, you have, yeah. So yeah, we are basically you're going to be using the blowgun for killing like big guys and leaders with only one hit. So that's really cool.
Managed to throw a beer.
What did I do during the standoff? My god.
You considered my offer?
Been a while. Oh well. Still okay.
When was the last time we saw
Yeah, and somebody in chat actually said why the Tumbleweed Samurai is not called Tsuchi roll.
Oh damn, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Tell me you were at Komoda.
Now we have three ways to name that.
Damn, I have to remember that one. The sushi roll. Oh my god. Dang it. It's even better.
The wagon. I got something.
Shoot. Yeah, the sushi roll. Oh my god. I like that. I'm gonna steal that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
All right. So now we meet Ryuzo. Ryuzo is our childhood friend, and he's going to be with us obviously because he's our friend and he's going to help us getting rid of the Mongols. So he's a Ronin, and he's in charge of the Straw Hat Ronin. And obviously, because the island is in war, they need food, and this guy is all about food. So they are really hungry, and yeah, Jin, being the friend of Ryuso, is going to help them to get food, and so the Ronins can join like Jin quest for rescuing Lord Shimura from Castle Kaneda.
How many men do you have?
Sorry, but I can't get over that sushi roll.
You keep laughing.
It's okay. I mean, it might be just because it's like 5 a.m. over here, but it's marvelous. Sushi roll. Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's here. Ryuzo's back. About time. I don't see it.
Alright, so let's see if we can actually be quicker than Ryuzo. We're always having a little bit of a competition here. Who gets to the rock formation sooner? We will do that with 3 little jumps, just like that, and then we'll just run as quickly as we can.
That's my job.
To right over here. And yeah, we made it before him. Slowpoke.
I'm actually jumping over this thing now.
Jumping over it.
Yeah, I haven't paused that, but I am jumping over the thing now.
Oh.
Then I'm always before Risa, yeah.
Interesting. I don't think I've seen that yet.
So now we have another person to our little Scooby gang for rescuing Lord Shimura. And yeah, now we got the Ronin attire, but again we're going to change back to the Ghost Arbor because this thing is useless.
Right, who actually came up with that sushi roll name?
I don't know how to say that name. Ovi Jacob maybe. Yeah, Ovi Jacob sounds right.
Alright, gotta remember that name. Yeah, gotta give credit. Credit where credit is due.
Yeah. Okay, so here Aeshmah pick a smoke bomb that is always there, and it's really nice because another thing that is really OP is the smoke bombs. We're going to actually see here a little bit later how to use them. But yeah, smoke bomb are really useful in the run.
Yeah, basically what a smoke bomb does on a basic level is that it puts you out of combat. And you know, the intended use is you drop it when you are surrounded by enemies, and basically they won't see you, they will lose track of you, and then you actually have the opportunity to assassinate them again. However, we actually won't be using the smoke bombs for their intended purpose as I just described, but we rather have some other uses for them, as we will see in just a short while here.
Inside, and a signal at the top of the tower. If they call reinforcements from the bay, we'll be trapped. They'll cut us to pieces. Find a place to watch for me. Once they destroy their signal, attack. They'll kill you. If they do, avenge me. And take their food. That's not funny.
Come on, trigger.
Watch the tower for my
Thank you.
If you say so.
You actually have to wait for the quest to trigger at that point, otherwise if you continue you actually... well...
That took a while.
No idea why, but oh well. Trigger for that is a little bit iffy from time to time. Alright. Let's disable the alarms over here. And then light the lighthouse, so our allies know that they can come rushing in. Then we'll have a big old fight in our hands once more.
It's time, Yuzo.
And here you can basically see the beauty of the black powder bombs for more or less the first time. Because you can just take one of these bad boys, throw them right into the thick there where the enemies are, and yeah, stuff dies.
Kill them all.
Pretty
Yeah,
thoroughly.
Yeah, the smoke bomb, I think when people play this game, the smoke bomb is kinda underrated because the smoke bomb on his own is kinda like average, but we have perks in the ghost armor that make the gunpowder bomb really powerful. So it increased the area of effect of the explosion, also put enemies on fire, and having the perk that enemies on fire that bump into each other catch on fire increase obviously the probability of enemies being scared. So yeah, the bombs are really useful with this setting of the armor.
Frontal attack would be suicide.
Yeah, basically most of our strategies will revolve around the black powder bombs during the run, because they are just so powerful. They can basically end a whole skirmish with just, you know, one bomb. And that's pretty good.
That will get their attention.
Yeah, and you have to remember in any percent run, you have to do all these fights by sword, so it's really different.
You heard Yuzo.
I mean, it might be more fun. I mean, at least it is for me. But yeah, sadly, it just takes way too long to do that run.
Men should be in position.
Also, you know, you have to watch all the cutscenes, which gets a little bit old after a while.
I knew they'd come through.
Yeah, it's like watching a movie with gameplay in between.
I mean, which isn't bad.
This wasn't the plan, G. There's no time to fight. We need to get to that boat.
Oh, all right. So this part here, you have to do it like really sneaky, but because we have the smoke bomb, we can actually run there and use the smoke bomb. So you have these prompts that you can't activate if you are in the middle of combat. But as I said before, when we threw a smoke bomb, the game recognizes us out of combat. So we can actually activate all these things if you are in the middle of the smoke. So that's really useful, because parts that you have to do like really sneaky, even though you have the sushi roll, if you stop for using the prompt, the enemies are going to spot you. Because for using the sushi roll, you have to be always in motion. So yeah, you need the smoke bomb for activating the thing.
That name immediately caught on, didn't it?
I'm gonna use it as often as I can.
I figured.
The food isn't here.
All right.
Yeah, basically saw the usage of a black powder bomb there pretty well, I want to say. Just throw one in the thick of the enemies and they're done.
These look like battle plans. Better go find Ryuzo.
So now we have to
Alright,
make our
so-
way over to Ryuzo, and that is actually the first point we will see of the blowgun.
Yeah, we're going to use the blowgun for this big guy. And a really good thing that make the blowgun useful is that even though the enemy doesn't die right away, they have a really long animation of them dying. Like they start like moving around and puking blood and such. But the game recognized the enemy like defeat as soon as that hit them. So that makes the blowgun really useful against like leaders and like big enemies.
Coming up is Komatsu Forge, and that can be a little bit of a make or break part of the run, I want to say, because there will be a pretty large fight at the end of that quest, and yeah, some people actually can struggle with that quite a bit because it's just wave after wave of enemies, and you really have to, you know, plan out the usage of your ghost tools at that point, because optimally we don't want to do any shopping trips during the whole of Act 1 because all of the shops are actually pretty far out of the way. Now, I did have to make one pretty much near the beginning of the first act because I didn't get any of the explosive arrows during the Tale of Sensei Ishikawa. However, optimally, of course, I wouldn't have to do that because even though it was pretty quick, it still lost me time because optimally, well, you don't have to do that. Which also means that you actually pretty meticulously have to plan out your ghost weapon usage during the whole of Act 1 because you have no way of replenishing those outside of pickups.
Okay, so we already rescued Taka, the blacksmith, and this is the Komatsu village. And this place have actually the best forge in all the island. The problem is that this island is, I mean, this city or this village is full of Mongols. So we actually need to do a little bit of cleanup so Taka can actually use the forge here.
How many survivors are left?
And for some reason, these Mongol archers just respawn every time you reload this checkpoint here. Well, skip this cutscene, I should say.
Men by yourself?
Because actually how this works is you're not actually skipping the cutscenes when you skip the cutscenes. What happens is that the game places an autosave after the cutscene happens, so that if you die you don't have to go ahead and watch it again. And if you skip the cutscene by pressing the buttons, you're actually loading that particular autosave that the game created. And that is why some things can be a little bit screwy from time to time when you skip cutscenes. A nice side effect, though, that is definitely positive is that whenever you skip a cutscene, and since you're reloading the checkpoint, your health always gets refilled to the maximum. So if you're missing a little bit of health and you know that a cutscene is coming up, you don't actually have to go ahead and spend your resolve to heal yourself, because the game will basically do that for you.
Yeah, so it's kind of pros and cons, but yeah, there's some places where the some enemies respawn after you skip the cutscene. But I mean, it's not that bad.
There's one point in the third act though where I think it's really what's the word, annoying that some enemies can respawn because it's a pretty big enemy group and you probably have to use a black powder bomb to get rid of them. So I'd rather not have them respawn, but I haven't really or we haven't been able to figure out what makes them respawn and what not, because sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's really strange.
Yeah, but I don't kill them when that happens.
Yeah, you're playing on easy though, my friend.
That's true. Okay, so this quest is actually a three-part quest where you have to. So Taka need to use the forge, but he can't use the forge without his friend, like helper. And when we rescue the helper, he can help Taka without his wife. And now that we have his wife, the wife needs to rescue some, I don't know, friends of her, I think. So we have to like pick them all to Taka being able to use the forge.
It's a whole big fetch quest. And I hate it. Even during my casual playthrough, like this point was just such a big back and forth between the town and the forge over here that you just have to constantly come back to after you've rescued a few more people. It's like, really annoying and slow.
Yukio! Thank you, my lord. The Mongols are here.
Yeah, so we have one more family to rescue, and then we have a big fight. And this is, I think, the first time that we're going to see the mechanic of hostages being here. So some of the time you have to kill all the Mongols, and I mean you need to kill all the Mongols, but they can like sneak and kill the hostage. So you have to be really, really careful, because if one hostage gets killed, it's a game over. You have to restart from a checkpoint. But yeah, in Komatsu, it's kind of annoying because there is a guy, there is some people in the second floor. So sometimes if things don't go well, like people don't get in scared or something like that, some enemies can go to the second floor, and it's really annoying.
Also, one thing to note is when you are accompanied by NPCs, as we are now, and we get spotted by enemies or we get dragged into a fight, we cannot run away from that fight. You have to take that fight because you have to protect your NPC friends here, and that is why we definitely do not want to get spotted during these parts where we run back to the forge with them.
Yeah, and also we take some really specific like path going back, because there is always stuff in the same places. So we actually go through this little place here or in another way, because we are picking stuff for the obviously the next part of the run, or the big fight that is coming up.
So one thing of note is this is one of the only fights that is basically set in stone, like which enemies spawn and where they spawn is always the same, which is rare for this game. But yeah, let's see how the execution goes.
Yeah, so you basically have like these waves of enemies that came from some places. Even though you know exactly where the waves are going to coming after you, the problem is that you have no idea which enemies are going to be scared. So it can be one that's going already to the house, or one from far away. So that's the base where you have to react and see, okay, but this is the enemy that is alive, and you have to be careful because they can kill the hostages. And yeah, Jin just there got hit twice and died, and by using the iron wheel was able to stay in the game.
Yeah, the problem was
And yeah,
normally the second shield-wearing enemy there gets scared, and that is why I already had the wind stance equipped to go ahead and kill the spear-wielding enemy. Wherever the second shield
also like a shield. So if you hit the shield or some places of the armor, the dart is not gonna work.
So basically, whenever you try to shoot a dart, it's not like you press the button and it gets, you know, shot out. You actually have to hold it down for like a second or two and then let go to shoot the dart. And, you know, if that enemy is already in your face, you can kind of tell how you don't actually have that 1 or 2 seconds to hold on the button. So you can actually shoot the dart. It really only works, you know, when they are still a little bit of a distance to you.
Can someone help with this? My lord.
Right. So now that Taka was able to lead the forge, he was able to create this new weapon. I mean, not weapon, that
Tool.
yeah, that tool that we're going to use, which is the iron hook. That we already have because it's New Game Plus, but again, we have to do the quest. And this next quest is actually kind of tutorial for
I've been looking all
the iron hook. And yeah, we met Ryuzo again, and he tell us that his friends were captured by the Mongols while they were trying to steal the rice. So we have to help him again.
And this is another walkie-talkie section, so you will see actually a lot of jumping, because it's pretty long. But again, while this is faster than just, you know, walking beside Ryuzo or riding beside Ryuzo, we have to keep in mind that we are not allowed to walk away too far from Ryuzo, otherwise he will stand in place and wait for us to come back and pick him up. So while you do want to go fast, you don't want to go too fast, because then you start going slow.
I didn't choose this life.
Makes sense, right?
At Lord Naga's tournament. We never talked about it.
Before we spawn.
Yeah, so the bad thing is that you can imagine like a sphere on Ryuzo, and
I got swept up in the excitement.
the sphere that you can be like X amount of distance from him to be able to walk again if you go too far is actually smaller. So yeah, it's really really annoying when that happens, because you are losing a lot of time when that happens.
You should have come to me. I would have hired you.
Because no one else would? No. I needed to prove myself.
I wish you told me this earlier.
What are you doing? My god, why is that horse so useless?
You deserve the best.
What you're supposed to do here is you can summon your horse like shortly before you get to the bridge, and normally it comes running at you, or at least it spawns pretty close to you. But for whatever reason, it kind of decided to just go ahead and hide in the forest. Maybe it's a little bit shy because all of you guys are watching or something. I don't know. Never seen that happen before. I think that's the second time now today that we saw something happen that hasn't happened before, so that's great.
Yeah, it's not a marathon if something that never happened before happened, right?
Yep,
Where's Hiro and
it is tradition.
And they're not coming back.
cowards?
I mean, otherwise you would just be watching a YouTube recording, right? Couldn't tell if it's live or not. This could all be pre-recorded. It's not.
It'll be dark soon. Ready to ride to Fort Yatate?
We'll figure out how to free your men on the way.
Alright,
so-
now that we've caught up with Ryuzo's men, it's time to free the second half of them.
Yeah, and as you can see in that walkie-talkie section, the relationship between Ryuzo and Jin is actually quite,
Fort Yatate.
I don't know,
That's where the bastard.
quite delicate because Jin was the
What's your rescue plan?
what? What was that?
Oh shit!
I have no idea.
There's only one road into the fort, and it'll be heavily.
What is up with this run?
I don't know.
At the back of the fort.
Apparently I'm not plugged into PSN anymore, which I don't need to be because this is a single player offline game.
Something to help me.
I mean, unless you're playing the multiplayer mode, of course.
Stay with me. I'll set up one of the alarms.
Heck,
That's your signal to ride in.
why did that come up?
I don't know.
Knew you'd have a plan.
Like, what?
I'll find a
Okay,
way up the cliff on
third
this
time I suppose. That's the third. That never happened before. What the hell? I mean, we're having technical difficulties that are not technical difficulties, I suppose.
Can't jump that. It says his hook will support my weight. It worked.
Yeah, so as I was saying, the relationship between Ryuzo and Jin is
I'm studying a lot.
kind of delicate because obviously Jin became a samurai and Ryuzo could not become a samurai. They're still friends, but obviously Ryuzo had some issues with that. And now we have to help him again to rescue his friends. And yeah, this is kind of the tutorial for the iron hook. This whole section here is to use the iron hook for getting into the top of this thing and rescue the Ronins that are here. And yeah, basically you have to rescue 3 cages of Ronins. And at the end there is an awesome display of how powerful the gunpowder bomb is.
Oh my god, I actually didn't jump, I just ran off the cliff. Oh, god.
Taka, I owe you.
What is happening? This is going off the rails. I'm not following the script anymore. Call John.
Need to find one of those men. They really are safe. Sounds like they're caged all over the fort.
Okay, so as you can see, I shot a, like, I don't know how to call it, like a light.
Lantern, razor.
Yeah,
Something
like
like
a lantern. And there is a lot of things like that in the game. Like things that are there in the nature that you can use for doing damage to the enemies. And yeah, fire obviously is your friend here. So here is the first cage with Ronins.
Ready to fight.
Dude.
Oh, that was ugly.
It was.
And yeah, so you have here a huge amount of NPCs fighting with you, all the Ronins, and so in lethal, the enemies deal more damage, but you also deliver more damage. So that means that also the NPCs deliver more damage. So in lethal, the NPCs are actually quite useful because of that.
We're ready for you.
But
Quick
on
interjection.
easy, for example,
Coming up is my favorite bomb throw in the run. Because we will just go ahead and wait for all of these Mongols to congregate at the gate over there. And once they're all there, we throw one black powder bomb and I guess this speaks for itself.
Yeah, you love that part.
I do. I do. It's one bomb, it's about 20 Mongols or so, and they're all dead. Or run away, whatever.
Yeah, so there you can see how powerful the the gunpowder bomb is, and again, it will not be that powerful if you don't have the perks in the armor. So that's like a really important thing that once we discover like how to put together this armor, the gameplay changed a lot because now you are more prone to use like fire and explosion to use the sword.
It's actually interesting how that came to be because in the beginning this game didn't have a New Game Plus option. It got patched in like I think about 2 or 3 months after the game had released. So in the beginning, of course, we only ran the New Game Plus category, which takes about 7 to 8 hours. And it has a lot of sword fighting, as we explained earlier. And when New Game Plus was released, a couple of runners did some preliminary theory crafting how a New Game Plus run would look like. And basically what they did was they just subtracted the cutscene times, because you can't skip all of those, and then took optimal segments that we have run so far and came out about a estimate of about 4 to 5 hours. And I took a look at that and I was like, nah, this is too slow. We gotta change things up a little bit because we have all these tools that we barely ever use during the new game category. So let's go ahead and implement those a little bit more strongly into the New Game Plus category. And that is when I started experimenting with some charms and with some armor loadouts, and that is basically how the strategy for this one started evolving, where we just channel our inner Michael Bay to blow up some Mongols and liberate the island of Tsushima.
I'll see you inside.
Careful, Jin.
Yeah, so it's really really different. And also I mean you can do like any percent or and you can plus and it's fine, but yeah, it's really different, and obviously there is something for everybody because the swordsmanship, if you want to call it like that, is like really really little in New Game Plus.
The alarm.
Okay, so now we are already in Castle Canada, ready for rescuing Lord Shimura. Sadly, the Ronins didn't show up. They didn't show up, so
There's a siege weapon up
Jin has the people that he already recruited, like Lady Masako, Senshigawa, Yuna. And yeah, we're going to rescue our uncle, but yeah, we're kind of sad because the Ronins didn't appear to help us. I wonder why.
Nothing bad could have happened, right?
Yeah, they were probably eating or something.
Where were you?
That was good.
Masako going for a stroll. Also, my second favorite bomb throw coming up. Because we will run up to this gate. And cool guys don't look at explosions, they assassinate. So, throw the bomb. Throw the bomb. Well, now it wasn't as cool anymore, Jin, because it didn't throw the bomb. You ruined my throw. And normally what you're doing there is you just throw the bomb over the guy and assassinate him while the bomb lands and kills all the other guys in the distance. But for some reason Jin just did not want to throw the bomb.
Hold the bridge. I'll find another way.
You ruined my moment, Jin. Sadness. But now that I actually have watched the air assassination cutscene, I actually can do an air assassination now. Without repercussions.
That we know.
I could use this help.
And of course the guy wasn't in reach, so I actually couldn't do it. And he actually killed me. Great. This is going well.
Yeah, that attack is really, really awkward to dodge.
There you are.
Quiet.
Ooh. Dude. Yeah, this is a little bit awkward now because I need to run resolve. And just a minute there, so that is why I'm trying to protect it here. By taking these guys out a little bit slower than I normally would.
Yeah, so as we said before, resolve is the thing that we use for our specials, and a really cool mechanic that if you play the game, you probably love it as well, is the duels. So the duels, obviously you can like parry, perfect parry, dodge, and it's really like really cinematic and really cool like melee fight. But yeah, in New Game Plus we cheat a little bit, I want to say, because we have all these specials that we can use in the fight. And here, as you can see, that
Hold this area.
here is where the terrifying thing can be your friend or your foe if the enemy that is alive is like really far away. And here, Aeshmah is changing outfit because we have a duel coming up. And surprise, surprise, and Ryuso betray us. So now we have to fight him. And Aeshmah changed his outfit and put the Sakai armor. And this outfit is pure damage. So all the all the perks in this armor is only damage. And we have the Dance of Wrath, which is this really fast attack with three like really powerful slices. And yeah, with all the three of those, we can actually do this do like really really fast without have to use like as much skill if you want. Okay, coming up, this is two big guys. We use the smoke bomb to do a chain assassination. This is a really cool thing that you can actually assassinate like big enemies as well. So it's not like you can only kill like small enemies. You can kill everybody. And here we're going to do a standoff. Standoffs are actually quite slow compared to like normal killing, but in lethal is this this standoff is really important because as you can see, it gives you a lot of resolve and let you have almost all your resolve back. And because we use the resolve for resuscitate Jin if he die, even though we know how to skip that standoff and do it faster, lethal is not worth it because I mean maybe in like a top, if you are like grinding for world record, maybe it's useful, but this is a marathon and we need to be safe. So yeah, but we can actually skip that standoff.
Face me, you coward! Uncle, I'm coming!
And yeah,
there he
now we
is.
are up here, and here is Lord Shimura, our uncle.
Finally saved him.
Come, Jin. We will clear the invaders from the northern courtyard. Lord Sakai will pull them to us. I'm with you.
Okay, this is the last fight. We have some bombs, so we can kill these last waves. And this is actually the end of Act 1. So in Ghost of Tsushima we have 3 acts, and in the first one you have to rescue Lord Shimura. That's like the main goal, and we did it. We actually rescued Lord Shimura, so we have to clean this last wave of enemies, and we are done with Act 1. And if you're thinking, okay, so this game is really long, like 3 hours runs, who have time for this? We actually have a shorter category that is Act 1. So if you want to like do a run of Tsushima, but 3 hours is too much, you can actually do a Act 1 run, which is 1 hour and 20 meters or something.
Do you still want to leave Tsushima?
Yeah, that basically also goes back to the new game speedruns of the game, which are, you know, as I mentioned earlier, 7 to 8 hours, and that's just not a time frame that a lot of people can comfortably, you know, put into their streaming habits or their speedrunning habits. Which is why we decided to introduce the Act 1 category. And when you're playing on a new game, or on a fresh save file rather, that still takes about 3 hours or so to get through. So, you know, it's still quite the time investment, considering that we can finish the whole game on New Game Plus in about 3.5 hours. But, you know, it's a little bit more manageable. But that is how the Act 1 category came to be in the beginning.
Yeah, so now we're going to buy stuff. So from now on, we're going to be buying stuff more often. In Act 1, the issue is that you actually are not close to trappers, that is the people that sell stuff. But luckily for us, in Act 1, and I mean in Act 2 and Act 3, you have access to a trapper like really close from where you are. So we're going to be actually buying more stuff in coming up.
Yeah, basically we will be able to restock our supplies before, well, every quest where we need to do exactly that. So that's actually kind of nice.
The bridge is out.
So basically what we're trying to say is, from this point onward, you will see a lot of explosions.
Uncle, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So in Act 1, you depend of like looting and what you are able to buy at the beginning with like really limit resources. But now we are kinda good in supply, so we can buy all the stuff that we want. And this is probably the longest walkie-talkie section that we have to do. So I will say, because of like storytelling I don't know, reasons, when you are like riding with Lord Shimura on some NPCs and the NPCs like talking or a conversation is happening, you can't sprint, so we can do this, which is kind of awkward, but it's faster.
And again, we want to go fast, but not too fast to actually leave Lord Shimura behind, because we got too far away from him. So, you know, you want to go at a modest pace here.
It was the samurai who brought order and unified all of Tsushima. We must show our people that honorable.
I mean, on the flip side, it's also nice because you can make small mistakes during these sections and not get punished for it, because you have to wait at the end right here anyway for the dialogue to finish. But,
The past cannot hurt you, Jin.
still a little bit faster.
Yeah, so
Okay, he's coming.
yeah, one other run that we have that is shorter, is like half an hour, is all shrines. So the island in his entirety have some shrines that there is some like little puzzles that you have to do to get into the end. And yeah, it's kinda abandoned, that category, because I don't know, it's really weird, because you can fast travel. It's like a shrine rush or something like that. You can go to every shrine and do the puzzle and pick the stuff. But yeah, that's like, but I don't think you fight anybody in that run.
Nope, you don't. Just go from shrine to shrine to shrine. It's a bit of a meme category, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm actually really. I have high hopes for the Iki Island expansion, so we can have like maybe 2 hours, 1 hour run that is only the Iki Island.
Dude,
I have that hope.
Because you got so far away, I have to come pick you up. This is exactly what we mean when we say that. Oh yeah, sure, just take your sweet time getting back on track, Shimura. Yeah, nice Sunday stroll doing here, right? Oh my god, dude,
Yeah.
hurry up. What the?
Yeah, these baby NPCs are so freaking annoying.
Okay, I've never seen it be this bad, you know. And this again is RNG. There's RNG when he dismounts from his horse. It's RNG when he starts fighting the Mongols. There's just nothing you can do about that. But I've never had it this bad. I don't think. Oh, okay. There's also something else now happened. Hello.
Okay, so this is Fort Ito. We had to exploit the alarm here, and we actually have to go there. We have to. There's a checkpoint here that we have to hit. So even though we can shoot the alarm from far away, we have to go there anyways. And yeah, this is again the RNG is going to play a major part because all the enemies that have like these swords in that yellow sword that you can see, that's all the people that is still fighting. So you have to kill everybody to be able to continue. And yeah, so it depends how far the people is. And here is a really fun part again. So we have a for some reason we have a wagon with explosives coming up, and we can hit the wagon with this gunpowder bomb and make a huge explosion.
You know, I'm always curious, like, why the hell would they have that wagon filled with explosive be the first one in line to run into this fort? Like, why would you set it up in that way? Like, logistically speaking.
I'm glad you came,
I don't know.
You were an effective distraction.
Those Mongols don't really think through the tactics, do they?
We need more warriors like you following us into battle.
I mean,
You may have trouble finding them.
you're not supposed to be using fire at the beginning, so
We have business in the
Right, I'm the not honorable one. Dishonorable one.
Yeah.
True. But yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
another
now-
fort liberated.
yeah. Now that we liberated Lord Shimura is actually taking charge of the whole thing. So now we are in Act 2. We have to do what our uncle said that we have to do, which is sending a message to the Shogun, because in the main island of Japan they have no idea what's happening in the island of Tsushima. We also need to rescue our old armor that we already have because it's New Game Plus. And we have to go and recruit the people on Yarikawa, which is kind of
We freed a Mongol prisoner here.
I don't know how to say it, like
A warrior monk. I'll find
like a
out.
city that is kind of mad with Lord Shimura.
Yeah, they rebelled like 20 years ago or so against Lord Shimura, and he had to put that rebellion down.
This is where they
And ever since, you know, they are not exactly on the best of terms.
I promised it holds double that.
Walk with me.
Yeah, and here we meet Norio,
You rode from Toyotama.
which for me has the most interesting storyline
As were the healers
in the game, because it's really, I mean, you are being the ghost, and he has like a kind of similar, I don't know, like development in his quest, but it's really interesting. But sadly, we just meet him once, and that's all.
fight back.
Yep, we're never gonna see him again. Bye bye, Norio.
My brother always said he's the greatest healer of us all.
Then I'll see you again in Nakashima.
Also,
Yeah, and
this-
here you can.
Go
No,
ahead.
go away.
You
No,
will
go ahead.
never see this countdown reach 0, because, you know, when you go too far away from the area that you're supposed to be in during a quest, you get this countdown, and when it reaches 0, you actually get a game over and you have to reload a checkpoint. However, at this point you are supposed to listen to what Norio has to say, but his dialogue is so short that this timer will never reach 0, so you can just really safely leave him alone, talking to himself or something. Poor guy.
Yeah, you're basically being really rude and get him talking alone there.
That's just what we do here.
Yeah, so now we are going to Yarikawa, which is the one of the things that we have to do. Go there and try to convince the people to fight with Lord Shimura, even though Lord Shimura is the bad guy for them. And also, really like interesting thing is that you can see that Isuhara is under attack, like notification. And if you open the map right now, you're going to have like a really small like cinematic animation that is telling you, okay, so Isuhara is under attack. Isuhara is the whole area that we left behind.
No sign of any other.
So yeah, when you start running the game, you probably are going to open the map right now, so you can like put the marker in Akashima, which is this village that we have to activate for later. And you are like putting markers here and there, but now we don't open the map because we already know the path. So obviously opening the map here is going to make you lose some time.
It which really makes this riding section in particular a little bit stressful in the beginning if you don't know the way yet, because it is one of the longer riding sections in the game, and not being able to, you know, check the map where you're going can be a little bit stressful in the beginning.
Yeah, and also one thing that we haven't seen that often is these patrols of Mongols that appear. So in the whole island, Mongol patrols can appear with different type of enemies. Like sometimes, like big guys on horses, guys with bows, and yeah, they appear randomly. They can appear everywhere. So if you encounter one of them and they hit you with an arrow or with a spear or something, it's really bad because if you are on combat, you can fast travel, and even though you can call your horse, you can get on your horse what you are in combat. Sorry. So you have to
Bless ya.
like kill everybody, or you have to like go away by foot until you are like really far from the combat that the game considers that you are not on combat. So yeah, having a Mongol patrol appearing is kind of bad.
Or, as you found out, you can just go ahead and throw in a smoke bomb, get out of combat, and then call your horse. Also works.
Yeah, so that's a really nice backup strat that hopefully we're not going to use never, because it loses time, but it loses less time. Because you can use the smoke bomb and the game recognize, okay, so you are in the middle of the smoke and nobody can see you, so yeah, you are out of combat. So yeah, there's your horse, and you can mount the horse, and once you're on the horse you can run away.
But yeah, getting thrown down from the horse for whatever reason probably loses you 30 seconds to a minute at least, I want to say. It's a really big time loss.
It's strange being back after so many years. Everywhere
I think the worst people to actually come across are archers, because they can pretty reliably shoot you down. Unless you ride away from them in some kind of zigzag motion. But even then, it's not necessarily guaranteed that you actually get away from them unscathed, or still on your horse, rather. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Especially later on in the third act, there is one very infamous patrol for me that when it spawns, I have like no recourse against it. I basically don't know how to circumvent it, because if you try to run around from it, you know, so you don't run into it, rather, that just loses you time. You're just bleeding time at that point, which is why we will deploy another strategy should we come into that situation. But I can show that off when we get there. What's a little thing here is in this survey point, these survey points are actually programmed in a very particular way, because whenever you look at a thing there, it triggers another bit of dialogue where the characters, you know, talk about whatever it is that you're looking at. But it's programmed in such a way that the camera zooms out so you can look around for new things to look at whenever a certain point of dialogue finishes, or a portion of dialogue finishes, rather. And what I just did there is, if you are quick enough and Jin enters this survey option, and you are very fast on clicking at one of these survey points while some dialogue is still going on, whenever that dialogue finishes, also clears the survey point. So we actually never heard the dialogue that was supposed to trigger when I look at the camp, because they were still occupied with the dialogue from before. And that saves, you know, whatever, how long it takes to get through the dialogue initially. I think it was probably like 10 seconds, maybe even only 5 or something. It's really quick, but it's a time save nonetheless.
Who are you?
Also coming up is another trick that Charlton found.
Run and tell the steward right away.
I want to go ahead and
Yes.
explain that.
Name of Lord Yariko.
Yeah, so basically in this part you can't
Uncle disbanded.
sprint and you can't jump either. So doing the Dance of Wrath and then canceling the final animation by drawing your bow is actually the fastest movement that you can do here. Lucky for us, it's not faster than sprinting,
Disturbance at the main.
so we only use it in really rare occasions. And Aeshmah going there and jumping over the fence, it also saves time because you actually have to wait there until the dialogue finish. But if you jump into the place where the cutscene take place, for some reason the game said, okay, why you are here? Yeah,
My uncle as much as
cue the cutscene and you save like I think like 11 or 13 seconds.
memories of
That's basically some kind of fail-safe measure they probably put in, because, you know, it's not in the story. It doesn't make a lot of sense that Jin would jump down on this bridge and do whatever he does when he gets there, and that as well. They basically have the cutscene play out when he's still back up inside the town. But it would be kind of nice if we could just go ahead and fight Timuga then and there. It would save us a lot of time, actually.
And Yariko was next. If that doesn't
Yeah,
convince
it will be.
you, nothing will.
Yeah, so the Dance of Wrath thing that you all we see already, that also can be used in water. So if you do it in water, when Jin is like knee high in water, you do the Dance of Wrath and he's going to like swim really really fast. But that's Aeshmah, at least he doesn't use that in the run.
There just are not enough opportunities to do that, actually. So sadly, probably won't get used. I mean, there is one opportunity later on, but we will see it when we get there, I suppose.
good noble.
Yeah. So now we talk to
Ujimasa.
Ujimasa, the leader of the Yarikawa people. And yeah, he said basically that it's not going to help us, that probably the Mongols are not going to take the village because they are not interested in Tsushima. They actually are interested in the main island of Japan. So yeah, but we have like a backup strat for that. We're going to help a faction of the like archers from Yarikawa to help them, and maybe with that they can persuade Ujimasa to join the cause against the Mongols.
Can you tell where they went?
Let's find out.
We used to come here to catch crickets.
At least once a week.
Then we'd weave.
So yeah, we are now here on the trail of the archers. See if we can find them, because they've been missing for a couple of days or so.
Away from our mother. When she was angry and looking for someone to blame.
Yeah, and coming up is probably one of the scariest enemies of the whole game, so brace yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
The tracks lead to this house.
Didn't the samurai live here?
Ooh. Yeah, that's it.
I'm sorry.
You have to be more careful.
Kozanmaru. They've been sleeping here.
Yeah, bears are really can be really dangerous in a normal playthrough.
Arrowheads,
It
bowstrings.
can, if you give him the time to be dangerous.
The archers must have been here.
Jin, Taka.
The other day I was knocked down off my horse with a bear from a bear.
I like these archers.
Yeah, I hate to see it.
Tracks here.
I mean, bears are probably as bad as any other enemy when it comes to that. Maybe even worse, because they can soak up quite a lot of hits.
There they are.
Heading up the hill toward that ridge.
They're staying low.
Also, there are the archers. We are, well, following them, while keeping our head low, as you can clearly see.
A samurai. Alive. Get over here.
Get over here!
You must be the archers from Yarikawa.
See, Scorpion.
Yeah. So
There's your archers.
in all these, I mean, in Act One, Jin is uh, getting more like ghost things, like doing more ghosty things, like things that probably for the samurai code are not good.
There they are. Why should the barrels
But
not
yeah,
be
that's
close?
going to uh, deliver. Oh, how you say that? That's going to change a lot in the next quest.
Oh.
Yeah, in this fight, I don't like this fight at all because it's really weird. You have some leaders that spawn, and I think the number of leaders that can spawn can be like from 2 to 4, and they spawn from different places. So yeah, I don't really like this fight.
Actually, it's always 3 leaders, but you don't actually have to kill all of them yourself, because sometimes 1 or 2 of them get actually killed by the NPCs for whatever reason. Still have no idea how they manage to do that, because normally they, well, can't. Here's the last dude. There he is.
And yeah, that happens sometimes, that the last enemy is actually outside the place of the quest.
I mean, that wasn't actually too bad of a fight, except the last part, where I had to track down that one dude, like way down on the other side of the area. Oh well.
Okay, now that we help these guys, these archers, now the people of Yorikawa is kinda okay-ish with help us. But that's going to change here, because now we activate probably the coolest
I almost forgot.
quest in the whole game.
Thank you, Taka.
I have goods of all kinds.
I remember people like saying that
My thanks.
a lot of people actually saying that this is their favorite quest.
Yeah, this is like where the whole, you know, Ghost of Tsushima thing starts to really take off, because this tale of this ghost is starting to populate and getting into people's heads, and this is where we finally act upon it and help these people fight against the Mongols on a large scale.
Yuna! Jin! Jin! Yuna!
Okay, and coming up is the okay, the Mongols, like, they start to try to invade the city of Yorikawa.
Everyone who can't fight
And yeah, we're going to actually see how useful these
Explosive.
explosive things are. Yeah. We're going to use the 3 explosive arrows from the guys from this gate, and that should be enough for killing them. And in the next part, we're going to use gunpowder bombs for the archers. And yeah, we have to kill everybody here, but all the enemies are going to came from this place, and we are going to only use like bombs, and that's going to be all the fight.
Yep. 3 explosive arrows and 3 black powder bombs, and we are done. Nice and easy.
Yeah, and here we are going to see how useful the smoke bombs are, because now we have to destroy these siege weapons, and we have to kill everybody before being able to destroy them. But we already said that the smoke bomb takes us out of combat, so we actually with 2 smoke bombs can destroy the things without killing anybody.
And that's it.
And it's really weird because if you let this cutscene play, the enemies are like behind Jin,
Won't be
like
easy to get back to the start.
wondering, wait, what happened? I mean,
Yeah, they're pretty confused.
yeah. And what horse? Whip, chat pick Nobu, right?
Yes.
All the incentive, yeah, they pick Nobu. And here we are going to be rolling to the door of the main house of Jerikawa because
General,
um,
sounds like he's near the keep.
one thing that can be also like avoid us to use a prompt is if you are in combat. So we're going to be rolling here, and also even though you can get there faster, you have to wait for that dialogue to stop. And okay, so Aeshmah already changed outfits, so you can imagine what's coming up.
Another duel.
Yeah, so remember the Sakai armor
I am
is
Jin Sakai.
pure damage, so it's the more amount of damage that you can deliver with this armor. And we actually take this path for a reason. Having this armor at this point is like really well thought in the route. And yeah, this is the Muge. He's already done, and now we figured out that we can use fear to defeat the Mongols. And yeah, now we unlock the ghost stand that we already have because it's in Plus. But in a new game, this is where you get the ghost stands. And even though the ghost stands is really powerful and useful in any percent like new game, in new game plus is kind of slow. So we use it in really specific places.
Push them back.
And yeah, and the music here is just amazing.
Run, cowards!
Yeah, the problem with the ghost stands, sadly, is, or rather, how the ghost stands works is you have to kill 7 enemies. You have to kill 7 enemies without getting hit in between. If you get hit, your counter resets. If you manage to do that, you can then activate the ghost stance, and it allows you to attack 3 enemies which get killed instantly. Now that doesn't sound so bad, you know, being able to kill 3 enemies instantly. However, the problem is that most of our time save during this category comes from us, you know, terrifying the enemies so they just run away and we don't even have to fight them. But if you kill an enemy with the ghost stance, the other enemies around him won't get terrified because, well, the enemy rather counts as being deleted or outside of the combat immediately instead of, you know, getting killed, so to speak. And that is why the terror mechanic cannot proc off of an enemy that you kill in ghost stance. And since it is pretty slow to use ghost stance anyway, because you have to activate it, you have to go through the animation, then you have to go through this extravagant killed animations, it's just not worth it because you can just go ahead and throw a black powder bomb and maybe kill 20 enemies instead of the 3 enemies you can kill during the ghost stance. So yeah, it sadly is pretty useless for a New Game Plus run. Other than because we had to use it here because the story demands it to progress. But otherwise we wouldn't even use it here, I reckon.
Yeah. So, but in any percent new game, you are going to use the ghost dance as often as you can because it kills 3 enemies, and you are probably gonna go for the big guys, the leaders, and such. So yeah, it's really useful in any percent new game, but in New Game Plus, it's not worth it at all.
Yeah, simply because, you know, in New Game you of course don't have access to most of the ghost tools, or at least the ghost tools are not as good as they are in New Game Plus because you don't have all the charms and upgrades and whatnot, that makes them actually good.
Yeah. So now we're going to go. We're going to Omi Village, which is actually the place where Jin. I mean, it's Jin Village if you want to say it like that.
It's hometown.
And we're going to go back there and pick the Sakai armor for the next big fight. And we actually have the ghost armor on. And okay, so we have a mechanic. I mean, well, a mechanic. We have a thing in Ghost of Tsushima that let you put specific set of charms in specific armors. So, but if, for example, if in a cutscene you put a new armor because of story reasons, all the charms that you have in the armor are going to be on the next armor if you have to put that in the quest. I mean, in the cutscene. So that can mess up with the strats, obviously. So we go to Ami Village after the fight with the Muge because then we don't have to change armors. And when we put the Sagai armor in the cutscene, we have the same exact charms. So that's the reason why we do first the Ghost of Yarikawa and then we go to Ami Village.
Yeah, for example, during one of the next cutscenes, you will get the Sakai armor, which I'm actually wearing at this very moment. And if I was wearing the Ghost armor before triggering the cutscene in which I get the Sakai armor, the charm loadout of the Ghost armor would get transferred over to the Sakai armor, and that of course would mess things up royally, because I need the specific charm loadouts of these armor sets as I have them set up. And since we are wearing the Sakai armor anyway, when we get the, well, Sakai armor, the charm loadout of the Sakai armor overrides the charm loadout of the Sakai armor, so basically nothing changes.
No sign of Mom.
But it's still important to know that for something that happens way later in the run.
Come this way.
And this is Yuriko. Hooray. Oh, I love Yuriko.
I'll get tight.
Well, I kinda do, but I kinda don't in a speedrun sense, because Yuriko is actually one of the only NPCs in the game that you cannot hasten along. Because so far you've always seen me, you know, jump along to the NPCs to try and hurry up the walkie-talkie section here. However, Yuriko doesn't care. She just moves along at her own pace, and there is nothing you can do about it. You just have to, you know, bite the bullet and have her walk as fast as she can naturally.
You'll have to tell me more about that someday.
But it's just the two.
Yeah, so most of the NPCs they move a little bit faster when you are ahead of them, but in the case of Yuriko, yeah, she doesn't even care,
Half the time,
Nope.
he's right. But his
She doesn't care that
and
we
you
are
can't
speedrunners.
blame it, and you can't blame her because I mean
Lord Sakai, you
she's
I
a
gotta
granny.
play the H card. Heck, have you seen Lady Masako? She is still quite spry for her age, I want to say. Also, the favorite part of every speedrunner, speed haiku.
Yeah, so we're going to speedrun some poetry right now. If you play the game, you encounter this mechanic like already, like in the Act 1. But yeah, we have to do a haiku here. And there is 2 mandatory haikus for finish the game. And this is one of them. And yeah, it's basically like for Lost. This is the graveyard for the Sakai clan. And yeah, Jin is coming here, picking the armor of Clan Sakai, and yeah, it's kind of special moment. So yeah, you have to do a haiku.
Yes, this is mandatory speedrun poetry. I don't think a lot of games have that now, do they? Ah, come on. Get on the horse. I'll say, hey there, Wicked! Woo! The Wicked Viking,
Hey, Viking.
another Ghost of Tsushima speedrunner.
Hey, Viking.
Glad to see you, buddy.
Okay, so in this next cutscene is where Jin put the armor, and because we already explained, he already have the armor on. The same charms are in the armor. And once we put the armor, we have to use the new perk that the armor has, that is doing more standoffs. But we already said the standoff is really, really slow, so we can here go and just use the smoke bomb and do a chain assassination, which is
Yuriko,
really fast compared to the standoff, because in the standoff you have like a really cinematic animation where Jin is like walking near them and they can take an X amount of time. So yeah, doing this without the standoff is always faster.
Keeps the vermin out of our rice.
Can you make it
I mean, on the flip side, we of course don't get as much resolve, and we are a little bit resolve starved at this point because we just got out of the duel against Temuge, where we used basically all of our resolve for the 3 Dances of Wrath. But I guess that is just something we have to work with.
Sit with me a moment.
Yeah, in this quest we get the blowgun. So past this moment, we can't use the blowgun without getting the flashback. So we're not going to use the blowgun anymore. It will be kind of helpful, but it's not helpful. So you can take the time that the flashback is going to. Yeah.
You're probably not getting that time back.
Yuriko was right. Mongol outpost.
Yeah, and this whole quest in New Game Plus is kind of pointless because the only 2 things that you get with this quest is the Sakai armor that you already have because it's New Game Plus,
I'll get these.
and the blowgun that again you already have because it's New Game Plus. So yeah, this quest is kind of pointless in that matter.
Yeah, sadly. We still have to do it though, because story progression. But yeah, I mean, you have to congratulate Sucker Punch on their QA testing department because they probably did a phenomenal job finding all these things. Potentially. Because there are no things in the game, sadly. Or they are really hard to find, and we have to dig deeper.
Yeah, we are digging, that's for sure.
But yeah, if any
Yeah,
of
so-
you people, you know, think that you
Yeah.
are a good glitch hunter or whatever, you know, get into contact with us. We need you.
Yeah, that's a nice segue. So if you
It kills vermin.
so Ghost of Tsushima is actually a quite small community.
invaders.
So if you want to join the community, please do go to speedrun.com, search for the Discord link, and yeah, join us. Every time a new runner came to the game, things are discovered. So yeah,
It's nice to ride with you again.
You and Lord Shimura.
I mean, can you imagine what this run would look like if we had left John to his devices?
You sat so tall and straight in your little saddle.
There would be no bombs. That would be a little bit of rolling. But
no, don't use the word rolling. We rebrand that. Remember?
the sushi roll.
There you go.
I mean, this is perfect. God damn it. How come nobody thought of that before? I mean, you know, that's exactly the point that Charlton was trying to make. You know, fresh people
Yeah.
just come up with new stuff that the old guys just don't see or didn't think of, and speedruns start to strive.
Poor man was trying to teach you how to hold your
Yeah, stay on script.
butterflies.
Another story.
It's like, you know, a little bit of the history of the run. Because John Shepard 104, he was one of the first runners of the game, and he created this phenomenal document with all his notes for the speedrun that basically everybody used in the beginning. And every time, you know, he went into the streams of another runner, he was always reprimanding everybody from straying from the script if they were making mistakes or stuff like that. So he would get a little bit angry. I mean, not really, but you get the idea. And he got really angry with me once I started using bombs and not following the script at all anymore. But it turned out it was faster.
Remember how we danced flowers for your mother?
She arranged them for your little alcove at home.
That should be enough. Bring them to me, young master.
Yeah, so we pick here the purple flowers that we picked earlier. And it's really interesting how in Act 1 you have these flowers. I mean, they should not be there
See if this
at all,
poison works.
but they are, so that's nice.
Yeah, it turns out they're all over the island.
Yeah, this is again the tutorial for the blowgun, and yeah, this is the whole quest here. We already have the blowgun and the armor, and we can now continue. And now we're going to do a message in fire, which is sending a message to the main island so the Shogun can know what's happening here and send reinforcement.
Yeah, we have a new name. The Tsushima roll. No, sushi roll. Sorry. Oh my god, I screwed it up. I screwed it up. Oh my god, I'm gonna screw it up.
Leaves? No, it has petals.
I mean, to be fair, I just learned the name. No, I'm old. Stuff takes a while to get into my mind until it takes hold. Virus.
Okay, so here we have a long road again to Umugi Cove. So yeah, guys, remember we have a bid war uh, to choose to spare or kill the final boss of the game. So that's on. If you want to put some money there in spare or kill the final boss of the game.
I mean, it's for a good cause, right? We're not here just for fun. I mean, we are, but you guys can donate money for prizes.
Yeah. Can I talk about it?
Go ahead.
Well, one of our prizes is a Delfino custom controller. Delfino Customs is a controller and console business located in England. They specialize in customization, modifications, and repair. When you use the code BSG 2020 on any orders up until the 25th of August, you'll get £5 off your order. If you customize your controller cable with the Paracard services, £5 will be donated to Mind. Message them directly for all inquiries via their Twitter page at Delfino Customs. And they were so kind. They donated a controller to a custom BSG PlayStation 2 controller to us. That's worth about €50, and you're eligible if you donate €15 or more. And what do the donations go to, you may ask? Well, the donations go to Mind, which is a nationwide organization committed to prevent mental health issues and support everyone who's dealing with mental health issues themselves or within your family. In every region of the world, mental disorders surpass 10% of the population. Governments seem to lack momentum in reducing the burden of mental health problems, as only 55% have mental health awareness and only 8% have suicide prevention plans. Organizations like Mind help raise awareness to the issues, helping us get one step closer to a world where everyone gets the help they need.
Well, sounds like a good cause to me, if you ask me. Also, I might have to try and get my hands on that PlayStation 2 controller, because I was actually able to hook up my PlayStation 2 to my streaming setup. And my controllers are kind of old, actually. I don't know.
Well, you know what to do.
Yeah.
It's important to speak to the lady.
However, sadly, I'm actually speedrunning a game for this very thing at the moment, so, you know, I might have to hold off on that for another hour or so.
Well, there are still some other donation incentives coming up, and now I'll have to look up real quick.
Thank you.
For example, the famous big smoke order cutscene in GTA San Andreas, which still has quite a bit
You must be
left to be
World.
met, and
After
When is it, you may
I thought my
ask?
debt to Lord
Well,
Shimura was
it
erased.
is
That's why I was drinking.
in
To
about
celebrate your
7
escape.
hours from now.
To mourn the samurai.
So
Those
still some
warriors
time
died
to get it
protecting
met.
men like me.
They swore to defend everyone on Tsushima. Even you, Goro.
I don't know if I can repay this sacrifice.
All right,
You must
so
build an arsenal, Goro.
now we met with
Expect it
Goro.
to fail.
He's lacking a couple of arms, if you ask me. But yeah, he's how you say that?
Blockade won't be
He's
Do you
a
have
smuggler.
Shimura's
Yeah.
message?
He has it.
Yeah, and he's able to pass the blockade to the main island and deliver the message.
One of my boats is ready.
So yeah,
Port
he's going to help us
This
to
map shows where I'll
um,
wait on
deliver the
yours.
message to the Shogun. And yeah, that's the whole thing.
I didn't call.
I mean, you have to remember that Tsushima Island is this small island between Japan and China, basically. And when the Mongols invaded, they of course erected a blockade by sea around the island. So, you know, mainland Japan has no idea what's actually going on the island of Tsushima at the moment. And that is why we need a smuggler to deliver a message from Lord Shimura to the Shogun, so we can actually get some samurai reinforcements and fight back against the Mongols on a greater scale. That is basically what this message pertains, that we are going to try and deliver in the next quest.
Yeah, so now we are riding to Fort Kaminodake. No, Mitodake, sorry. And yeah, there is a really weird thing that happens here often. And it has to do with doors. So doors in Ghost of Tsushima are code, so they don't open by themselves. They are opened by NPCs. So in this case, what can happen that is probably gonna happen because it's a marathon, of course, is that the NPCs that are opening the door, they are not on sync. So they have to close the door, but they both have to be inside the fort. But sometimes they start closing the door from outside, so they close the door, but they are outside. And because that can happen, the game open the door again, and you have to pray, so the guys are going to be closing the door from inside. And that can go there like until they are able to close the door in sync. Also, they can be scared by Jin and his explosions, and that also make the closing the door really really weird. So yeah, you are basically to the mercy of the door here.
Another RNG fest, basically. Pretty bad one at that.
Mongols have many ships. Can Goro evade them all?
Yeah, I think it's because probably the game or the developers of the game didn't think about people being able to reach the door that fast. But yeah, in a normal playthrough, you're probably not gonna encounter this problem because you are going to be killing people while this door thing is happening, so you're not going to be able to see it. But we're going to be able to see it here if it happens.
I
And
mean,
if it doesn't happen, you have to take our word for us.
to be fair, New Game Plus was patched in later, so, you know, they didn't have that in mind probably when they initially released the game, I guess. So you wouldn't have the ghost armor at this point, normally.
Mongol armies are formidable, but our attack will catch them off guard.
Let's pray that holds true in the fort.
They outnumber us. But
But yeah, we will completely honorably fight these coming enemies, because as soon as we see them, we just charge right into battle.
Then
Alright?
strike.
There they are.
For Tsushima! We have the advantage. Cross the bridge. More coming out of the gates.
And you have some nice explosions.
Alright, here we go.
Okay, let's see the door.
Where are the guys? Normally there should be 2 guards.
Yeah,
at the
one of them
gates.
is there, scared, and the other one run away. So I think you're gonna have to restart from save.
Yep, I do. That's exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
We have the advantage.
Doors.
And these guys are here again.
Doors, am I right, gamers?
You know what? Let's just restart.
Oh, they respawn?
Yep, they do.
Oh, that's really unlucky.
And that guy was right in my face. Yeah, so let's try that again.
Take them quickly.
There they are.
Perfect fall. Well done.
Yeah, so...
That's better.
Yeah, lucky for you, both were in sync and closed the door from inside. But yeah, you could still see those guys closing the door from inside.
That gate.
That's where you want. But if they start closing the door from outside and one of them is outside,
Enemy fear you.
yeah, the door is going to pop open again.
Same thing here when you actually open the door together with Shimura. If you press R2, you know, as the game prompts you in front of the door, before Shimura is actually near the door, you basically softlock because he will never come and help you. Or he will come, but he won't help you open the door, rather. So
Yeah.
you have to wait for Shimura to actually be at the door, and then you can press R2 to try and open it.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you just have to go here to the end of the path. So in the end of the path there is a wacha, that is these weapons that shoot explosive arrows. And yeah, the only bad thing here is the doggies.
Don't even mention it.
Watcher. That is our new goal. Fight to the tower, Jin.
Yeah, you have these Mongol doggies that they have only red attack. So red attack is an attack that you can block, you only can dodge, and yeah, even though they can be really far from you, but if they start the attack, they're going to get you. And the bad thing is that yeah, as you can see, it's really annoying and it's really time consuming because yeah, there you go. They grab you and there is like a little animation of Jin like getting rid of the dog, and yeah, it's really time consuming.
Yes, shoot the dogs. Shoot the dogs. Make them hot dogs.
Yeah. Doggies here in the game are really annoying.
Are you serious? What?
These are the last of them. Let's finish it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, at least it put you there.
They just straight up murdered me. I mean, you know, I wasn't even able to revive myself because the second guy immediately shot me in the head and killed me.
Yeah. Well, you were right there in the floor. I mean,
It was very smart of him, but I just still hate the action.
Don't let up. Goro must confront.
Because that is actually one of the things that can happen is, yes, you do have the ability to revive yourself by spending 3 points of resolve and using the Iron Will ability. However, if the enemies, basically, whenever you are on the ground, if an enemy comes and hits you, you die in earnest. And if they hit you before you can spend those 3 resolve points to revive yourself, well, you're just out of luck because you're dead now.
Slow down, Goro.
And that is exactly what happened there. That one archer basically, you know, hit me so hard that I didn't have any HP anymore and I was lying on the ground, and then the second archer just came in and shot me in the head and killed me. So good. Bastard.
yeah. So here we have to clean the path so Goro can go through the blockade. And here the boats, they spawn in the same exact spot every time, so it's kinda really scripted. And yeah, now that Goro passed the blockade, now they can reach the island and send reinforcements. And yeah, so this is like kinda a circular path that you have to take for reaching this tower. And we actually find a way to reach the tower early, but the whole path is full with checkpoints. So if you miss one of them, is made the thing useless. So yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah, you really have to hit every checkpoint during a quest in order to progress it, which is why we have not been able to find a lot of, you know, shortcuts or whatever to make this go a little bit faster even more, which is really sad. But it is
All right,
what
so
it is.
coming up is A Reckoning in Blood. This is a really sad quest, but it has a really funny glitch. So it's really fun to watch.
Goodbye.
And even though you can see Aeshmah buying stuff here, that shopping there is really specific because some things that is going to happen next.
Can't take everything.
What are you leaving behind?
Bought a bit too much though, but yeah, it's no big deal.
So yeah, so basically Lord Shimura intercept communication that tell us that Ryuzo, because yeah, we fight Ryuzo, but he in the cutscene he survived. He escaped before dying, and in that duel, and we intercept this message that tell us that Ryuzo is in Fort Koyoasan, Nest of Traitors, and yeah, we're going there right away to face Ryuzo.
It's just a short trip from outside Lord Shimura's encampment here. Just gonna basically head straight down in the hills here to get to it. And the idea here coming up is that, you know, we want to infiltrate this fort. And of course there are a lot of people inside there. And we will be joined by somebody else shortly who will basically use themselves as a distraction to lure out all the enemies, so we can just go ahead, sneak in and have our fight with Ryuzo. However, that's slow. We don't want to do it that way. What we actually just want to do is just head inside the fort and go to the end. And that is basically exactly what we're gonna do here. So even though, you know, Taka is yelling at them, we'll just head straight into the fort. We will not wait for them to go out. We'll just bypass every single one of them. Because again, even though we can't open the door while we are in combat, coming up over there, we can just go ahead and drop a smoke bomb, get out of combat, and then open the door. Just like that. What happens now is, though, because the Mongols are technically still inside the fort, even though they shouldn't be, they are very angry at us all of a sudden. So for the next couple minutes, you will hear them just constantly scream at us, even though there is not a single Mongol in sight. Just like that.
Only if we let them try to get loose.
So yeah, go ahead and enjoy this audio glitch for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah. So I like to joke and say that we are going to actually hear this the rest of the run. But you just tell the truth right there. Yeah, so Jin lose his armor and he put the armor again. So that means that he can have all the resources that he had before. He only can have the like default amount of any stuff, like default amount of kunais and arrows and bombs. So if you have more of those things, you are going to lose them. So that's why Aeshmah bought like really specific amount of everything, so he can like doesn't waste supplies. And here we're fighting the Straw Hat Ronins, and they are really different to Mongols enemies. They are really powerful. They deliver a lot of damage, and they fight very well with the sword. So yeah, you want to use other stuff for the Ronins because they are really powerful.
Now they can waste you pretty easily as well.
Yeah, here in the cutscene, sadly Taka died. So now we are killing everybody here, so we can take his body and made a proper burial for him. And yeah, we're going to be using here the same thing, because even though the Ronin are like Japanese, they also can be scared by Jin. So we are going to use fire and explosions and stuff because they can also get scared.
And with that, we are still getting screamed at by some invisible Mongols somewhere around us. But the next time we fast travel in just a moment here, that will be gone.
Yeah, Jin is grieving there, and the Mongols are just yelling.
Oh, they're angry. Alright, and with that, it's time for the last two quests of Act 2.
Yep, so now we did all the things that we have to do for Act 2. We recruit the Yarikawa people, we went for the Sakai armor, we sent a message to the island, and yeah, now we have to take back Castle Shimura that the Khotun can take when we take Castle Canada. So now we're gonna buy everything that the most thing that we can, and yeah, prepare for a really big battle.
I hope it helps. I'll make an offer.
Had a little less supplies than I thought I had, but it's gonna be okay in the long run. I just should have gone and sell some more before I actually started buying to save a little bit of time, but nah,
Take care, you know.
not too bad.
I need to meet Lord Oga.
Yeah, and these purple samurais are the Lord Oga clan, and they went. They arrived from the main island, and yeah, we're going to try to take Castle Shimura back with them.
Rescue your uncle.
Also, any of the ESA people think that the color scheme
With my life.
of this particular samurai clan looks a little bit familiar?
People have a name for you.
You know,
It is something
this
to believe in
white,
after the samurai were defeated.
Now the samurai
purple,
are back.
orange
Time we put these folktales
color scheme.
and reestablish
Look familiar?
the shogun's law.
Yeah? Just me?
Time we save this island. The people who call it home. Politics can wait until the Khan is
Yeah, and you can see from the dialogue there that the samurais are already worrying about this ghost thing. Because yeah, Jin, he had to do all this thing by himself, and he is using all the tools that he have. So yeah, but this ghost thing is definitely being a problem now.
Alright, time to reclaim Castle Shimura.
Kill them all! Back down! Fight!
Okay, so here we have to kill actually everybody to be able to go inside the castle. And yeah, we're going to use every stuff that we have at our disposal. Explosives. Jin has this fire sword that is going to use for, against the big guys, because then the little guys can be scared. And
Huh.
this one guy is alive there.
I've never had these two come from that side. Interesting.
Forward! Show the Mongols we will not be denied. Archers, move to higher ground. Clear the way ahead.
And this fight is again really different that story, for example, because you have a lot of NPCs here and they deliver the same amount of damage. And these two guys here that they close the door, they need to close the door, wait a second, and then you can kill them. They can take damage before that animation end. And here in the next part, you actually don't have to kill anybody here. You have to just go to the end and trigger the cutscene.
Ow.
And yeah, there is some stuff to pick in the way that's really useful. And yeah, you don't want to get hit when you are in the middle of the air. And there you go. And in this next part, you actually don't have to kill anybody until you get to the tower, and you can use the Watcha to help your enemies. But this Watcha have a really interesting thing, because it seems like this Watcha have the friendly fire off, because even though you are like throwing explosive arrows to all the area, only the Mongols get get damage from it.
It's very advanced technology.
Yeah, I mean that's the reason why the Mongols were able to conquer that.
Probably.
Yeah. And these waves, they always appear from the same places, so yeah, this fight is kinda scripted as well. And yeah, we are still quote unquote being honorable, because we went into this castle from the front and we are like raiding the thing until we get to the final castle. So we are still with all the samurais and all the friends of Lord Shimura.
You were right to terrorize the Mongols at the gate. Your uncle was wrong.
I mean,
I can't make him
shouldn't we do that?
understand. We'll die if we don't change.
Should we do something else, maybe?
The only reason we've made it this far. And every
More Mongols up there. Watch your back, Masato.
no mercy.
Okay, here we're going to go for the leader with fire, because again, fire put enemies are make enemies scared of Jin.
Push through. We must reach the bridge.
And this is the last area that we have to clean before this quest end. So this quest is kinda two quests in one. In the first one, we have to clean
Dude.
his whole thing. And yeah, that guy got in the way.
He squarely broke
And,
my
and,
arrow.
and yeah, it took it like a champ. It didn't even flinch.
He completely blocked the shot. Oh my god.
Yeah, so in this cutscenes, what happened is that Jin is learning that the way that Lord Shimura had to use is not the right way. So the Mongols already know what Lord Shimura is going to do because they study the samurais, and Jin knows that if they do that, it's going to be really really bad. So a lot of people is going to die. So he has now the moral, like the moral dilemma to okay. So do I follow the lead of Lord Shimura and let off these people die, or I take these things on my hands and do this in the ghost way?
Yeah, this is basically where Jin finally completely becomes the ghost, so to speak. I mean, we get the ghost armor here. We will now infiltrate the castle, even though Shimura tells us not to do that. And, yeah, well, that will probably have some consequences. But first of all, we have to make our way around here and into the castle without getting spotted. Because what also happened in the cutscene is that Jin told Yuna and the others to go ahead and gather more of these Wolfsbane flower. You know, that poison that we've been using with Blow Dart for a while now. Because we are gonna do some sneaky poison action. Oh, I did not want to use the Gleaming Arrow. Oops. I mean, normally the whole thing should now know that I'm around, right? Because the guy was pretty screaming loudly. I mean, no?
That was clear. Now look for a way to poison all of them.
Yeah, so now Jin learns that if Lord Shimura continue with his plan, it's going to be really, really bad. So yeah, he asked for the poison, and yeah, we're going to put the poison on the Irak, which is fermented horse milk. Yeah, hope for all of the Mongols to die.
Explosives. My uncle's leading us into a massacre.
Which is not something that they are expected, so that's the whole thing.
Better take the garden path.
Oh, that was close.
Made it work. Made it work.
Yeah, so we here again need to do this thing like really stealthy.
Now to reach their feet.
But again, with that exploit that we have, the sushi roll, we're just going to roll to the Irak and use the smoke bomb again for being out of sight, and so the prompt can appear and we can use it. So in the normal way, you need to be really sneaky and wait for the patterns of the enemies to learn them and yeah, do the thing when they're not seeing you. But we can keep all that shenanigan and do the thing really fast.
Interesting fact, this camp actually has an infinite supply of Mongols. Whenever you kill one, another will just quickly come around and take his place, just so you know that this story here can still happen, because the whole point of this operation is to go ahead and poison the Mongols and then just kill everyone one by one in the sneaky way, or in a big out brawl or whatever.
Yeah, and here again, as you can see, Aeshmah change outfits so you can imagine what's coming up. And here we find Ryuzo. We have to fight Ryuzo again. But in the cutscene, he said he figured out that, okay, Jin, you are winning. So I go back and you can tell people that I was a spy. But at this point, Ryuzo killed a lot of people. So for Jin, if you surrender, you are going to go to jail. But yeah, that's the only way that this can happen. And well, they fight, and in this cutscene, actually, Jin's kill Ryuzo, and yeah, and Lord Shimura open the doors and see what happened, and see, okay, so Jin, you kill everybody with poison. That's not the samurai way. So now you are a outcast. And yeah, we're going to wait for the Shogun's order so you can go to trial, I think.
Yeah. And that is also the end of the second act of the game. So we are now already in the final act. So we have about 40 to 45 minutes left in this run. So, guys, I think it's time to donate some money for some incentives that are coming up, I want to say.
Yeah, remember, you can choose if the final boss of the game lives or die. By the way,
And
neither is faster than the other one.
at the moment, he's living with €1 in front. So if you really want to, it's an easy snipe.
Thank you, Kenji.
I mean, come on, guys. A life is worth more than €1, right? Even if it's digital? I guess. But yeah, we have to make our way out of Castle Shimura now because, as Charlton just explained, we are an outlaw now. We have lost all of our allies by becoming the ghosts because they were honorable samurai, and we are, well, not so honorable anymore in their eyes because we poisoned all the people. There is no more excuse for that behavior in front of Lord Shimura and the Shogun. So we will now have to flee with our trusty steed Nobu that you guys so graciously donated money for, so he can be named, but how to put it? Nobu is dead now. Horse died when we escaped. That's his grave. Bad times. Anyway, continuing on, we have to get our equipment back because it was entrusted with Yuna before we got, well, captured. Or we didn't get captured, we surrendered ourselves willingly to Lord Shimura and the samurai in order to not have a civil war break out.
They burned everything.
And we are basically now caught between all the fronts because we can't go back to our allies, but the Mongols are also still there. So basically, from now on, all our objective now is to just go on and, you know, drive the Mongols off the island by killing their leader, Khotun Khan. So let's try and find out how we could manage that.
And you can again see how powerful the sushi roll is.
Yuna's not here.
Yeah, because actually, I think it's somewhere stated that Jin was actually locked up for a couple of weeks. So there is a pretty big time gap between the end of Act 2 and the start of Act 3 when he finally escapes. And in the meantime, the Mongols have learned how to, you know, create that poison themselves, which they are now using against us. But even though Jin is vomiting literally his own blood, doesn't stop us from just rolling around like an idiot to go faster. So that's nice.
Yeah, probably he just ate a bunch of strawberries or something.
I mean, he just has his priorities straight, right? Even though he isn't feeling well, everything is pretty bad, he can still roll his heart out. I mean, that is a man with priorities. Gotta respect that.
Okay, so now somehow Jin survived the poison, and yeah, we need another like headquarters to do Act 3, and yeah, we need Yuna to liberate some place that we can use for that.
I mean, you know, Jin is a pretty tough guy, right? No matter what happens, you know, he gets hit by swords, by arrows, he gets poisoned, and he just shakes it off with a bit of resolve, and he's good to go again.
There's only one problem. The Mongols.
That's commendable.
We can fix that.
Let's get the horses. What happened to your mount?
When I escaped, the castle guards fired on us. They killed Nobu.
I'm sorry. These will have to do for now.
So yeah, we got a replacement horse for our trusty steed Nobu. Not looking so great though.
Are those people from Kin?
Yeah,
I mean,
this
yep.
squad.
The Mongols burned a lot of towns.
If it only pursued their army instead of fighting each other.
Why did
Yeah,
you
this squad has seen better days for sure.
If I didn't give myself up,
Well, at least I
everyone
hope
who
so,
followed me
because
would
that is not a
attack the
condition you want to live in, I think.
samurai and Lord Shimura. It would have been a massacre.
I was wondering the other day, is this squad slower than the other
He was
ones?
backed into a
I don't think
corner
so.
By the Mongols,
Yeah.
by me, by his duty to the shogun.
I mean, they would actually have to go in and program different riding speeds. And while that is certainly possible, you would also have to change the animation and stuff like that, so I don't know.
Being right doesn't always.
I mean, you know, you're not having it that long.
We kill the Khan and drive the Mongols out. Is there a chance you're
Okay, so now we are riding to Jogaku's pagoda,
I was young.
and yeah, we are going to use
Entire world.
some really fun stuff to get rid of the Mongols in this place.
Have to hope we can
And as you can
finish
see,
Whatever
if you
happens,
remember,
his forgiveness won't
the Isuhara part, which is the Act 1 part, it was really green, really yellow, the Golden Forest, like really
make
cool.
them again.
Act 2 was like some places with green, some places like cloudy skies. The first part, most of it was like kind of cloudy because it was on the shore.
camp on the lake?
And now we are in Toyotama. No, wait,
Kamiyagata.
Kamiyagata, yeah, the most northern part of the northern part of the island, and now we have snow. So the game tried to show you in these landscapes how Jin is becoming more and more like dark, quote unquote dark. So that's a really interesting thing in the game.
Let's go.
How the landscape try to reflect how far or close Jin is from the light being like the samurai way. So it's really really cool. Okay, here we're using. No, go ahead.
I'm just gonna go ahead and assassinate a few people here, trying to rescue some fisher folk in this hut here. No biggie. And after that, I hope you guys like ice skating.
They were working us to death.
You're free now.
Because we will have our monthly, or weekly rather, rendition of Mongols on Ice. So I hope you guys bought your tickets for the front rows, because this is gonna be fun.
Archers watching the lake.
Because what we'll do here is we'll set up an alarm on this side to have all these other guys come to our side of the lake.
Divide and conquer.
And apparently all of these guys didn't get the memo that conspicuous red barrels are not exactly great for your health if you get close to them. So all of these people are now on their way over to us. There are these lovely stacked red barrels right in the middle of the lake. So take a guess what will happen. Yep. Burn him!
We got the bastards.
Let's get to the pagoda.
So yeah, I hope you guys like this little spectacle.
We need to plan our attack carefully.
Alright, so here there is two big guys, like really big guys on the entrance. So we're gonna do a little bit of the sushi roll, and so we can do the chain assassination. And there is one leader in the middle, so we're gonna throw a bomb, and hopefully with that everybody's gonna get scared.
Yeah, good enough.
And yeah, that was really good.
And now the bad thing about calling it the sushi roll is that I'm getting more hungry every time I hear it.
No more.
Can you get sushi for breakfast? You probably could, couldn't you?
Yeah, with the right attitude, anything can be breakfast.
Problem is,
Jin, over here.
can I order a sushi at this time? I mean, obviously not now while I'm still running the game, but after. Because afterwards, I think I'm gonna spoil that a little bit. There is gonna be another wonderful run coming up
I need more for that.
with Batman Arkham City
Worthy of a samurai.
by the ever lovely Xoneris,
Excellent.
which I all implore you to watch. And as we all know, I mean, Batman is just a modern day ninja, right? So Ninja Blog is not quite over yet. Not quite.
All right, so we already have our headquarters, so now we need to open a gate so our friends can came to this part of the map, to Kamiagata. And yes, as you can see, Aeshmah changed outfit. He put the Mongol outfit. This is, you get this new in plus. Oh, that was unlucky. You got hit anyways.
Okay. But yeah, this is basically what we what we talked about earlier, with enemies just shooting you down from your horse, and then you have to try and reclaim it. Normally you wouldn't be able to get back on your horse while you are still in combat. However, if you just drop a smoke bomb, of course you will get taken out of combat and you can just instantly go and get back on your horse. But yeah, you basically saw how much time that loses you, and it could be even worse. I mean, this was still pretty good, even though I got shot down. I got back on the horse pretty quickly. But yeah, you don't want to see that happen, like, ever during a run.
Yeah, that's a really common place where patrols are. And the bad thing there is that some of the ground is on fire. So you can get hit by that fire, the horse can get hit by that fire, so you actually don't have a lot of space to go around. So having the Mongol outfit there is usually enough. But I think they saw you before you put the outfit. But yeah, the Mongol outfit is not invisible by any means, but they took way too long to figure out that you are not a Mongol person, but a Japanese samurai wearing a Mongol armor.
What's up, guys? I hope you're ready for Takeshi's castle. Well, Takeshi's camp, I guess. Still, most of the letters check out, right? You guys all know Takeshi's castle, right?
You're welcome
Right?
at our campfire,
Right?
my lord.
Are you Takeshi?
Yeah, that Takeshi thing is... It wasn't something here, so...
We'll see.
But yeah, this is Takeshi. He's a friend of Yuna, and he's going to help us to take the fort Kaminodake, which is a path from Toyotama to Kamiagata. And yeah, we made a deal with him, so he's going to be able to stay in the castle through the winter.
If he helps us reclaim it.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we are gonna do now. So we got a little bit more of a writing section coming up, so yeah, if you want to talk about mind or anything, that would be a perfect opportunity. A little bit tricky here is that Kamiagata, with all this snow and this white and white, it's like really hard to get your bearings the first time you try to navigate it without a map. But after a while you just notice that, You can basically just go in a straight path most of the time and it will take you exactly where you need to be, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, and Act 3 is actually the shorter act of the whole run.
Yeah.
Act 1 being the longest. And yeah, this is actually the one of the fights of the act that there is actually not too many fights in this act.
Time to head for the woodcutter camp.
I mean, you know, there aren't a lot of quests in there, so I guess it kind of makes sense. They had to try and balance the fighting with the stealth. Somehow, I suppose.
Up here. We made it. Life only took hours. We sit up here much longer. Mongols are sure to see us.
Back away from the edge. I'll be right up.
Yeah, and we are putting the ghost armor again because we're going to be using a lot of explosions. And this place here is a little bit weird because again you are relying on people getting scared, but the problem is that you have
Everyone else
two guys, two Mongols that are really like hidden. So most of the time they never see what's happening, so they are always alive. And even though they see what's happening, sometimes that they just stay behind a crate, like hiding from you, and you have to go there like personally and kill them. So that loses you a lot of time. So you want them to be scared, but that doesn't always happen, sadly.
Where are you going, dude? Oh god, not these two again.
Yeah, so this is exactly what what I was talking about. These guys behind this thing, they are doing a lot of silly things. And yeah,
I'm lost. Well, not so much because Takeshi was also missing.
What sort of animals would... Open fire
These guys
on
are
my
back.
yeah, and here those enemies before they respawn, they were already dead. And here you have to kill all these enemies before you can continue. And let's see. Yep. Now we have to go here into this place so we can trigger the explosion in the gate from the other path.
Yuna. We have to get over.
And now we just go to the final part.
Let's get a look at the bridge.
And this is a little trick that we found not long ago. And yeah. And now we have to kill an X amount of enemies until Jin says that reinforcers are coming. And then we have to go to the final of this castle, and that's all. And you can see there another big explosion with a lot of enemies. That's always nice.
And there are allies finally.
There they are. They brought some friends from Yarikawa.
Yeah, so all your other friends, the people of Yarikawa, Sensei Shikawa, Lady Masako, and Norio. No, definitely not Lord Shimura.
Oh,
They entered through the other place and they are actually helping you.
Sakai, you're just in time. Keep swinging, Norio.
And yeah, so now the ghost is growing, and there is like a pretty big army actually. So you have people of Yarikawa, you have all your friends. Now you have the people of Takeshi, and also you have some people from Lord Shimura's and Lord Oga's army to join the Jin. So the whole ghost thing is actually growing up quite a bit.
And coming up is actually the shortest quest in the whole game. It takes about 3 minutes or so. There's really not a lot to do there. Basically a lot of rolling. If you get what I mean.
Sakai.
You don't want to say sushi roll anymore, right?
I'm getting hungry, man.
We're just getting hungry.
Can't help it. Also getting hella sleepy. So sorry for all the yawning, guys.
Why would the Khan come up here?
Okay, so here we need to go to the top of the lighthouse to investigate the whole camp
Mongols have been here.
here. And yeah, this quest is a stealth quest.
Uncle's castle.
You are supposed to be into the right path here and go in like in bushes and behind rocks and trees. But we have, because we have this sushi roll thing, we can just go straight to the lighthouse and do this really fast, and nobody's even noticed that you are there, even though you are just in front of them. One thing that we haven't said is that if you pass an enemy and you are rolling, they are not going to see you, but if you touch them,
Right behind you.
they are going to see you. So you have to be like away from them. You can be in front of them, but if you touch them, they are going to be aware of you, and then you can't go back to do the sushi roll in this way.
Yeah, basically they can't see you, but they can still feel you in a way. So no touchy.
Plan of attack. The harbor master's estate. The Khan may have taken it for himself.
Close to
Which can actually be a little bit complicated because once you start rolling, you actually set in your path. Like the roll will go in a certain direction and for a certain distance. There is no way to, you know, alter the direction once you started rolling or make it go a shorter distance, which is why you have to plan out your rolling a little bit ahead of time, basically. So you don't, you know, roll into an enemy while you are rolling. Roll into an enemy while you are rolling. Gosh. Words, what are they? Alright, yeah, that was the shortest quest in the game. Takes about 3 minutes, as I said.
Yeah, and coming up is the Jito's Heart quest. So we already researched the whole area, and yeah, we figured out that we can do this alone. So Jin, even though Yuna doesn't want to do this,
got some good news.
Jin is going to send a message to Lord Shimura when he tells Lord Shimura to join him in one particular day to raid this whole thing and finish the can. But he is going to go personally to deliver the message. So this is another stealth quest, but in this case is a stealth quest
Good horse.
into Lord Shimura's castle.
Strengthen your armor.
And
You
we're
can mount the horse here before you're actually able to name the horse, but Jim will immediately dismount again for whatever reason.
yeah, here we can pick another like samurai horse, like a.
Easy there.
I mean, it's kind of bad that you now have like a decent horse and the other one is forget somewhere.
Nobu will always be remembered.
Inside your uncle's castle.
Yeah,
I grew up there.
He lives in our heart now.
Every hidden path through those old walls.
yeah. Sadly, it's not a Shadow of the Colossus type of horse.
But yeah, Heart of the Jito is probably the most broken quest mechanics wise. And why that is, we'll get to a little bit later into the quest, but it's quite funny if you see it.
Yeah, so in Ghost of Tsushima, so the game can be consistent with cutscenes. So the whole idea here is going into the bedroom of Lord Shimura and put the message in his bed without getting cut by the samurais. But you actually can't kill samurais either, because it's not the purpose of the thing. So if you kill a samurai by mistake or on purpose, it's game over and you have to restart again. Because you have to do this quest silently, stealthy, and without killing any samurai.
Colder than last time.
Which basically means rolling, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who needs ninjas when you can just roll? I mean, seriously. People, this is not rocket science, just roll around the place.
If I attack the gods, it will prove I'm the monster they think I am.
Inside the castle now. And after a while this place will actually look pretty familiar, as this is... We will basically go through the exact same route as we did at the end of Act 2. Once we make it over to the cliffside. Ah,
There's my grappling hook under the
that's not what I wanted you to do.
Or find a way to make sure I'm not seen.
Oh well, doesn't matter. So yeah, from this point onwards, basically the same path that we took earlier.
Yeah, this
Same
is the
exact
path that
weapons.
we took for doing the poison.
Yep.
But now we can't kill anybody and we can't be seen either.
Which might be a problem, but not really. Just gotta climb this rock, get on the roof, out and about. And the thing is, like we said, you're not supposed to be seen, right? The game will actually, you know, game over you if you get seen during a stealth mission, right? The problem is, the way that this game is programmed is that just being seen doesn't immediately game over, you know? Enemies are allowed to see you. It's when they call for reinforcements that you actually get the game over when you do a mission where you're not supposed to be seen. However, we are supposed to stealth through this castle, and kinda don't, because even though these samurai clearly see us and they even start fighting us, they are not programmed to actually ever call for help. And since they don't call for help, you cannot get a game over, which is why you can just run past them. You don't even have to roll. You're just, you know, zooming past them. End of story. Quest done. I love it.
Yeah.
Completely broken mechanic.
It's really weird because I think it work as far as Lord Shimura is not inside the castle
Yes.
or
That
close to
is-
you.
That is one of the prerequisites, yeah, because the moment we were inside was while Lord Shimura was still outside giving his speech. This won't work anymore once he is inside the castle for whatever reason, but you know, the game wasn't programmed in a way to accommodate for the fact that you can enter the castle before Lord Shimura does. That is why that is completely broken. Which is
Yeah,
funny
so-
because it's one of the few things, you know,
What took you so
that
long?
you can do in this game that they haven't thought of.
Yeah, so
The
basically,
programmers, it
so
is, sorry.
in fact, you don't even have to use the smoke bomb if you are fast enough, and you are basically YOLO the thing, because is using the smoke bomb is actually like a proper, it's a safety measure. It doesn't lose any time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can just go there, and yeah, if you actually play like a normal playthrough and the Mongols see you in a stealth part, they have to yell samurai. So the game is over. But if you, for example, like threw a smoke bomb before they yell that, yeah, you're safe.
I mean, which is pretty nice. I mean, it also makes sense, right? That just because somebody saw you doesn't mean you failed the mission, right? I mean, if nobody saw that, then who's to tell?
Yeah, and as you can see there, Aeshmah just did some shopping. And one really, really good thing about the game is that you can actually go to a merchant, and the game, I mean, the time outside the merchant doesn't stop. So you can actually like take your time and do the shopping. And here we have to wait for Yuna. He's going to do a little bit of walking section, and we just need to wait. And yeah, remember that we have a donation incentive for killing or sparing the final boss of the game. So if you want to donate to that, I don't know where the donation is though. What's winning?
It's right now still on saving the boss.
All right.
All right.
Well, guys, you have about, I want to say 10 minutes or so until that has to be decided. So go ahead and donate while we just wait for Yuno to come over here so we can actually go ahead and start the next quest. Oh god, I was too far away, really. But yeah, we are dangerously close to getting to the end here.
Yeah, this quest is called Eternal Blue Sky, which has a lot of significance in the Mongol religion. But yeah, this is the fight when we go and like raid the place that we investigated before. And yeah, this is actually really interesting part. There's some cutscenes here that we can't skip. But here, Aeshmah is gonna go to the right and look at specific points, so the wave of enemy spawn in a really specific spot, so he can have more control of them and also use the barrel there. We have to kill everybody here, but you have to consider that we went shopping, so we have a lot of stuff for reducing here. Also, lucky for us, this whole thing has a lot of explosive barrels that we are definitely going to use because all the waves spawn like really, really close to them. So it's really, really useful. And let's see. There is a leader here. There should be enough. There is somebody alive.
Not anymore.
There you go.
Plan works.
You're all safe.
Alright, so here we are again close to the end of this quest, or this part of the quest, and we actually don't have to kill anybody here, where you're gonna just run through them. And yeah, without getting hit, because at this point the arrows that they shoot, they have poison, and if you have to heal yourself, you are gonna lose resolve. And we already talked that resolve is really useful. Here we're gonna use a... Wait. Yeah, we're gonna go into this tower and trigger the next part of the quest.
Just have to reach the manor house.
So now we are going to... yeah, when we were over that tower, we saw where the can was, so now we just need to run into the house that the can is using. And yeah, we're going to face him. Finally. We haven't seen the can once though in the run. But he's the leader of the Mongol invasion. And yeah, Aeshmah is going to change outfit. But in this case, we're not going to use the Sakai armor, but we are going to use the Kosaku armor. And the Kosaku armor is going to be used here against the duel with the Khan, because every enemy that you fight have a guard bar, a white bar over the health, and that's the amount of, like, I don't know how to call it, like shield that they have. And you have to break the guard of them to be able to deliver damage. So these guys, the Khotun Khan and the next boss, they have a huge amount of guard. So that's why we use the Gosaku armor that has a mix of breaking the guard, staggering, or and damage. And that's all. And now we're going to use the Kensei armor. And this armor is actually really specific. So this armor gives us the ability of getting more resolve. So we actually have not much to do. So we don't have to we don't have to kill like a lot of enemies for getting resolve, but we want to get resolve by killing the less amount of enemies. So that's one thing. The other thing that has is it has more increase the damage of the ghost weapons that we're going to use a lot here in the battle in the boat. And also it has a charm that you can see Aeshmah right now has the full ghost dance, and we have to use the ghost dance for the fight against the Khan. But if we get hit once, we lose the ghost dance entirely. But we have a charm that if we get hit once, instead of losing the whole ghost dance, we only lose one death. So now we can use the ghost dance for the fight against the Khan really quickly. And that was a really nice fast first wave. And there you go. O sea, the ghost dance is going to make us deliver, I think, 5 strikes without 4 strikes without getting blocked, which is awesome in this case. And yeah, that was really good.
And that was Khotun Khan.
Yeah, so the Khotun Khan is already dead. He wasn't able to leave the island with all the poison to conquer the mainland. And yeah, that's the whole game.
Yay,
Or is it?
But his army is still here.
Yeah, you guys
Our home won't be safe.
maybe are wondering why we didn't choose to kill or spare the Khotun Khan.
New
Well,
lives.
I used to know
as you can see, it's not the end.
now I'm not even sure who I am.
Bring hope to our people, fear to the Mongols.
And be hunted by samurai.
If anyone can change a samurai's mind,
And here we have another walkie-talkie section. And we're heading to Gosaku. Gosaku's pagoda. No, not Gosaku. Yogaku's pagoda. Sorry.
Kinda similar. But not quite.
Yeah, so you guys already see the 4 armors that we use. We use the Ghost armor, the Clan Sakai armor, the Gosaku armor, and the Kensei armor. And each one has his purpose. And if you want to see what charms every armor have, you can go to Speedrun.com, join the Discord, run the game, and then we can tell you.
It's a secret passed down through generations of Ghost of Tsushima speedrunners.
Yeah, and now as you can see, Aeshmah put the Gosaku armor because that's the armor that we're going to use for the final boss. And yeah, after the cutscene, you're going to see that actually Jin is not using the Gosaku armor. And you have to remember the thing that we said when we went to Ami Village. All the charms that the Kosaku armor have now are going to be transferred to the next attire that we put on in the cutscene.
All right, we are closing in on the end here.
Yeah, I
Got
think you
about
guys.
5 more minutes or so left.
And I think you guys can now imagine who is the final boss.
So yeah, guys, you still have a little bit of time to decide Lord Shimura's fate here by donating money to one of two choices. So go ahead and do so, because that donation center will close in a couple of minutes.
Years I have left ensuring they fail. A task I hoped we would face together, as father and son.
You can still remarry, start a new family.
Yes, I suppose I can. Looks like he could use a push.
Here, let us help you.
Do not trouble yourselves, my lord. Nonsense.
You can't do it alone.
You are much too kind.
Right. So now we have to help this guy to take the wagon out of the mud.
Thank you.
And yeah, I mean, this whole cutscene is about the ghost, what the ghost represent, and how the people is like joining the ghost army, and how the ghost is out of the hands of Jin at in this moment. I mean, the guy there said that the ghost army is gathering in some place, and they're going to go to Mongolia and raid the whole country. But Jin, which is the ghost, have no idea about this.
My most trusted warrior.
And yeah, Lord Shimura is obviously worried about that, and how this can affect the image of people being like really obedient of the samurais, but now one of them, and probably the bravest of them, going against the Jito in this case.
Alright, can we close that incentive once I am at that courtyard down there? That would be super great. And then tell me the result of that.
Pay our respects.
All right. So there has been one less donation, which means, and let me refresh for the last time to yes.
Yeah, just
Okay.
go ahead and close it now.
So we're gonna kill.
Kill! Alrighty
Yes,
then.
one last sniped donation.
Very nice. Yeah, so we have now the final haiku of the games for all the people that was going platinum in the first playthrough and were like crazy looking for the last haiku. Yeah,
Like me.
is here. Yeah. Yeah, this is the last haiku, and yeah, it's obviously about legacy. Which is the good ending? Ask in chat. The canon ending is spare, but the good ending, I think you have to choose.
Let's do this.
Let me go in peace.
Alright, so now we fight Lord Shimura. Lord Shimura is actually really, really hard to fight. And we have an X amount of resolve. We don't have full resolve like for all the others duels.
I don't want to hurt you.
Also, because this is lethal, the amount of time that you have to respond to a red attack of a blue attack is really, really short. And Lord Shimura delivers a lot of damage. And you have to use your resolve really, really wisely. And we actually, most of the time, we have only two Dance of Wrath, and we use them at
Time
the end.
is coming up, and time. And let's just watch the ending in silence because you guys so graciously donated for that. So,
I will make sure he
let's
will
see how this ends.
as a great warrior, a wise leader, and a father. Thank you, my son. Find me in the next life. I will.
And there we go. That is Ghost of Tsushima.
There you go.
Right, thank you for the GG's, guys.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the organizers for having us. Once again, this was a lot of fun, even though I am totally pooped as I have been awake for nigh on 24 hours now. So, whew. Glad to have this run behind me now. It wasn't too bad. The world record is a 3 hours, 17 minutes and 4 seconds, if I remember correctly. So about 5.5 minutes faster than what we saw today, but still not a bad run, I want to say. Thank you so much for Charlatan for once again commentating for me. Thank you so much for the Ghost of Tsushima community. You are an awesome bunch, and I hope we will continue to grow and attract more runners, especially for the multiplayer mode and of course for this category to see more people run it. Once again, if any of you guys are interested in doing so, you can go to speedrun.com, go to the Ghost of Tsushima page. You will find the link to the Discord and our resources and whatnot there. It is definitely a fun game to run. Kind of easy to learn, actually, I want to say, and we would love to welcome you there. And Charlton, if you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, no, thank you so much for inviting me. This is always a pleasure to talk about the game, to show you guys in chat how awesome this game is to run, all the little things, all the secrets that we use for the run. So yeah, thank you so much for also the organizers. This is an awesome cause. Happy to help with the commentary, and yeah, and again invite all the people that can want to run the game to join us in the community.
And guys, don't go anywhere as we have more speedruns coming up. There's a full week of speedruns happening right here on this channel, and I think next is the ever wonderful Xoneris with a Batman Arkham City run, so you definitely want to stick around for that when he closes out the ninja block of BSG Annual 2021. And with that, I think we are done here.
Yeah, absolutely. Took the words right out of my mouth. With that, we're gonna go into a quick setup. A quick setup for Xoneris, and that was my hosting shift. Pikastrov will take over, and goodbye.
Bye!
Bye.